to Knoxville, don't be late. Baker's Live, it's gonna be great. June 5th and 6th, mark your date at Dollywood, we'll celebrate. Meet Baker and more cool friends, live show magic that never ends. Come to Dollywood, feel the vibe. With great people there, it's gonna be a ride. Rides, fun, and meet and greet. Baker and pals, the crew's so sweet. Get ready for laughs, cheers, and thrills. Knoxville's the place, it's giving chills. Meet Baker and more cool friends. Live show magic that never ends. Come to Dollywood, feel the vibe. With great people there, it's gonna be a ride. June 5th and 6th, don't miss the fun. Meet Baker and friends, it's second to none. Baker and friends, it's second to none.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. And welcome back to the afternoon in the Zachary Hughes case. Or, as it's better known, this has nothing to do with the unaliving and the defendant, but all to do about the custody case and the ex-husband case. And they have left the audio running in the courtroom, so they're just chit-chatting the court staff, and it's really annoying. What have you missed? You missed a nudie pic. Because I had to go back and see if I had to blur it out. You can't really... you can see, but you can't see. So that's what you missed. Then you missed... someone was using his cell phone. An envelope was mailed. Another envelope was mailed. A third envelope was mailed. A fourth envelope was mailed. A fifth envelope was mailed. A sixth envelope was mailed. All of those had postcodes on it. All of them had the same content. A seventh envelope was mailed. We haven't really talked about the murder today. We have absolutely not talked about the murder today, other than he didn't use his cell phone till later in the afternoon, the day off. You missed out on a guy who talked about postcodes. How 397, I believe it was, is the code that says this is from Knoxville, Tennessee. If you're not in Knoxville, Tennessee, on the 4th, 5th, and 6th of June, you might not be able to meet me, because I will be in Knoxville on the 4th, 5th, and 6th of June. Still figuring out when I'm flying in, so figuring out if we're going to make another little meetup for just me. Where we're going to meet in a parking lot outside of a Walmart, and we'll drink some Malort and have a party. Or whatever we'll figure out doing at whatever location I can figure out to drive to. But this case is the worst case in the world. Did it have boobs? It did, kinda. But I don't know if they had covered it up or she had been tanning. They looked weird, but it was just he moved something on the overhead, and there was like half a second. I did go back. It didn't need to be covered up. But I have to do stuff like that because Jemima have said, I don't want to do anything. I've been here just as long as Marissa. I want to be as lazy as Marissa. These are the things I hear every day in the back room. Oh, Jamie doesn't have to show up for the shows. Why am I here? Well, because you're nice, and I thank you for being here. Every day, every single day is sadly how I'm treated. I'm such a friendly guy, and they just treat me like I'm a doormat and walk all over me. Well, Zach, you weren't invited anyway. Because you're from Texas. And only Steers and Greer come out of Texas, and you ain't no Steer. Yeah. Hey, Eastland. Yeah, I was thinking about doing a whole road trip, and then I figured out it was gonna be, it would substantially raise the amount of money I would be spending. And again, I have YouTube money. I'm not YouTube rich, so I will probably add like 3 or 4 days more to my trip this year than last year, because last year I landed Tuesday night after 26 hours of traveling. And Wednesday in the evening, we had to meet up with people and hang out with them. So I never really got to just have a day where I could say, okay, let me find a gym. Let me just get some energy out. Let me go out on my own, smell the roses, do all of the stuff you want to do after 26 hours of traveling. So I'm probably going to try and see if I can find a plane like Friday or Saturday, and then either go to South Carolina or Ohio or somewhere, Kentucky, somewhere where I can drive back and forward in one day, so I don't have to spend another $150 on a hotel. But I'll have to figure that out when I get the plane tickets. Now I've had the okay that I can spend another few days in Los Estados Unidos. Yeah, at least you're nice to me, Sue. This is the Jamie News Network. She runs the channel. I am just lucky enough that she has hired me to run her shows, take her abuse, and I only have to pay 110% of all my super chats to her. I'm not underrated on my intelligence. I'm just low IQ. I am just the pretty face on this channel. Hey, Jessica. And Plan Fan. Thank you so much, Nightbot. At least you love me. Someone is having a good day. Oh, and by the way, if you're not in the States, in 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, we will have the Copenhagen meetup where Iris and Jamie will be in Copenhagen, and Saturday the 8th at 10 a.m. Well, I'll be there. I hope the ladies will be there as well. On the central station in Copenhagen under the big clock. If you've ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. We'll meet up, go out, look at castles, force Jamie to eat Danish food, tell her to man up, stop crying, and eat some more Danish food, and just have a day where we can walk, talk, and enjoy each other's companies. That's no big plan so far. It could be. Three weeks tomorrow. Some suasion to go with it. Get me drunk? Well, you can try. You didn't get a chance? No. Stay away from this morning. It was 45 minutes about a man testifying that some harassment pictures of the victim naked linked to an escort site was sent to some people. Not who did it or anything, just that it was done. Then we had a postmaster general come in and say, yeah, some of them were sent from Greenville and some were sent from from Knoxville. Then we had a guy come in and say, well, we tracked his cell phone in these areas that could. Well, they didn't say why. That was interesting, but it was the same dates that this was shipped, so he could have shipped it from Knoxville. And that's about it. Wasted 3 hours on that one. No, she's gonna. Oh, let's get drunk, and then I'm just gonna walk over here, and then we're not gonna see her again, and then she'll come back at 4 a.m. saying, I'm so drunk. Ha 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 ha. We had a great party. Iris is gonna wander off with a Viking, and Jamie is just gonna go look for a puppy, and I'll be sitting there. Bottom of the world. Massachusetts? Well, hello, I was just watching a guy who went bourbon hunting in Knoxville. Why didn't you take me bourbon hunting? You didn't even take me to the mouse here. But I would say if I ever had to go to the bottom of the earth, Daddy needs to make a lot more super chats because that's expensive and that's like 2 days of traveling. Wanna go snipe hunting? No, bourbon hunting. Bourbon. Well, he had been at a cigar bar drinking bourbon. I think we can call it. Maybe we can put it on the business card, saying, "Well, it was a business meeting." It was Brucey, exactly. He showed up in my timeline yesterday, so I had to watch that. Apparently, the one we heard this morning.
Please the court. The state calls Michael Land.
Well, the police department sure is bottom of the world. No, this morning was me losing my mind, not because of all the heinousness like yesterday, just we spent 45 minutes with the same evidence because it was a package they sent, and I think there was like 7 times they just repeated the same stuff. Yeah, they forgot to use. Olivia, have you gone and watched his website? Because I never Googled his website before. That website looked like it's made in Win 97. It's probably one of the worst websites I've been on in a long time. And because I have to do a lot of research. I go to some very shady websites. Nope. I actually have a friend in Queensland, so but you also have 40,000 animals that would kill me before I left the airport, so I'm probably not going to come. Mr. Selbright, Ian Weiss, what's his blowback or whatever his website is called, or his company, that was, oh my God, it's bad. Was it blowback, blow something? Ian Whiffen, yeah, Ian Whiffen's website. I don't know if you got a new one, but the one I looked, double black. If that's the one here, I don't know if it's the correct one, but when I searched his name, I saw this one. It's from December 14, the last thing that's on here, but look at this splash. It's one of the worst websites I've ever seen. This is a guy who is an expert in internet things. This website looks like something my mom could do for her, I don't know, old people's thingies. I now work for one of the world leaders in digital forensic and digital intelligence analysis. Well, only if you use his crappy program.
Please state your name for the record.
Michael Land, Land.
So then, who do you work for?
The Greenville County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been with them?
About 7.5 years.
What are your main duties?
So I work in the intelligence unit, where we do processing of all sorts of electronic data and any kind of investigative work to help with a wide variety of cases.
And did you get asked to try to verify the internet address of the Winds Mountain House?
I did, yes, sir.
How did that happen?
So this was back November 1st of 2024, so last year. I was asked to drive up to the Indian Flats Trail, and we used an Android device that pretty much just scans, just like a phone does, Wi-Fi addresses, Wi-Fi networks that are available.
Another ginger. Two
And it
gingers in
logs
one
them.
room.
That way we could log what different networks were up there. And the WIN Wi-Fi was one of the networks identified.
So how were you able to identify it?
So it when you scan, just like if you're driving down the road on your phone, and it might pop up, say Starbucks or McDonald's Wi-Fi. It works in the same way. So this showed WIN Wi-Fi it displayed the name for it.
So did you just park on the street and look to see what available networks?
Right. Yeah. So just driving up the street and it automatically pops up.
Right, and how do you spell it?
It was spelled.
Is it okay that I refer to my report? They're just allowed to look at that report. No one does anything.
WINNWIFI.
And were you in close proximity to that Indian Flats Trail Mountain House?
Yes, sir. On the road, just at the end of the driveway.
Answer any questions they may have. No questions, please.
Oh, I can't with this case. We check for a Wi-Fi. Okay, see you later. Only a ginger can call another
State
ginger.
calls Jim Perry.
Jim Carrey. I'm not a ginger. My mom had me tested.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
I do.
I do. It's ginger for the rest of us. No hard R.
James Perry.
What?
Hi, Mr. Perry. What is your rank? How do you go by?
I'm an investigator.
Investigator.
If you haven't followed this case, they are now close to 35 witnesses. Most of them have been, did you take this photo? Yes, I did. See you later. So you did bugle swabs? Yeah. What do you do with bugle swabs? We rub the inside of the mouth. Okay, see you later. We had 45 minutes about 7 envelopes this morning. And then we had a guy come in and say, yeah, that postcode is from Knoxville, Tennessee. I could be talking about Fluffy the pig that the state's witness might have let being unalived in the Karen Reed case. That would have been better.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm an investigator with the Greenville County Sheriff's Office.
And what kind of work do you do for the Greenville County Sheriff's Office?
I do the Computer Crimes Investigation Unit.
And what does that entail?
It entails doing forensics on cell phones.
And were you, well, how long have you been with them?
I've been with Greenville County for 30 years, and then I had another 13 years with Greenville City and...
My content is bad, but it's not that bad. Zach, 50%.
Career. So 43 years.
They have a way too much chain of custody. They have the people who, at the manufacturing place that made the envelope that evidence was put into. Then they had the driver who drove it into the store where it was sold. They have more than enough.
Years total, with a little stench of about 7 years doing private investigation, so 50 years.
50 years in investigations.
Yeah.
We're not
Imagine
Catholic.
you have a story or two for us.
There's statute of limitations.
But again, women has ruined everything. So, we want Valentine's Day as well.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in this particular case?
The day of October 13th, I was asked to go out by my sergeant to the crime scene to collect a cell phone that belonged to the victim and bring it back and do the forensics on that one.
Now, are you oftentimes utilized, along with Charlie Cunningham, who we heard from as well, to help download phones?
Congratulations
and
to your
analyze them?
daughter tomorrow.
Yes.
And in doing that, what software do you use to
Okay,
analyze those?
back then I was using just the regular Cellbrite forensics tool.
And what does Cellbrite Forensic Tool do?
It basically what it does is it images the cell phone that you target, and once you get the image, you load it into a software program that pulls up a certain format that you can go through it and see what kind of data that is actually on there.
So you have the software that downloads the raw data from the phone.
Correct.
And then you have the software that helps you read it.
Yeah, it opens it up and parses it to make it a readable.
And is that called Cellbrite Reader?
It's called Physical Analyzer, UFED Physical Analyzer. The reports you get when you go through it is called, it puts a program in there called Cellbrite Reader so that if I give it to you, you can open it. You don't have to have the program I have.
You have a long time to go. My first grandkid is getting baptized this Sunday. Talk about time passing by.
And once it gets into the Cellbrite portion, the reading part of the software, are you able to manipulate it after that, or
No, once it comes up on the screen and it's opened up, you can't go in there and add things or take things away.
in this case, were you asked to review the downloaded data from Zach Hughes' phone?
I was.
And were you able to do that?
I did.
And how would you do that, or where would you do that?
I did it
We
in my
did.
office on my forensic computer.
And once you're in there, are you able to generate reports?
You can create a report from a report.
You missed a guy who came in, said, I went up there, looked for Wi-Fi signals, and went out again. And this guy downloaded the victim's phone interesting if he can be asked what he found on the victim's phone.
So if I were to give someone a 50 gig Cellbrite report, but you just want to narrow it down to 1 day, you can narrow it down to 1 day, and then at that point, create another report that looks identical as far as the layout of the Cellbrite report. But I know like on this particular phone, if you were to print it out, would have been close to 88,000 pages if you did the whole phone.
And so were you able to review the information on this phone as well?
I was.
In fact, did you identify that WIN Wi-Fi that we just
Yes,
I
I did.
discussed right there?
I saw the WIN Wi-Fi in the networks.
And then when you obtain that information, do you report it back to the lead investigators about information that's found on the phone?
Right. If we're specifically asked to go through the phone, we will give them a report, pretty much of everything we found that's relevant to what they're looking for.
And so not only are you downloading the phone and reading it, you're perusing it for evidence that you think may be important to the investigator's case.
Correct.
And are you communicating with the investigator about all of this?
Up front, they kind of give us an idea of what they're looking for, and then at that point we go through. It may even come down to the point, and in most of these cases, the solicitor will come over and sit down and go through with it, which you did, sat down, and we were able to show him different things that were on the phone that were relevant.
So were you able to make various reports
Hey, Rachel.
on Zach Hughes' phone?
I was.
And was one of those reports called user accounts?
Some of them, yes, that's one of the,
Oh, if you haven't followed this case, the victim, well, the victim is found dead, stabulated 31 times. It was sold like she was placed in a room and rose petals was strewn about her. And this concert pianist from Juilliard was the one who did it because her ex-husband made him do it. That's what we heard to begin with. Then we had opening statements where the prosecutor introduced the court stenographer, the guy who emptied the trash can, talked about the lunch lady at his old high school, talked about, we're probably going to get to a murder at some point. The weather outside is frightful, but inside so delightful. And then we started the case. 14 witnesses the first day to talk about her relationship with her ex-husband and her fiancé, where they had a motion hearing because the defense really wanted to ask him some questions about his cell phone records. Because the victim and him now have a civil suit from her daughter alleging that on their devices were thousands of cheese pizza pictures of the daughter, and one of the daughter's friends. The daughter had been around 4 to 6 years, I think, at that time. The mom and the daughter. There's also some charges against the fiancé for some buggery, which is to do with animals. So we really fast lost any interest in the murder victim because apparently she wasn't a good person. The defense really want to open the door to that. The judge won't let them open the door to that, but it really paints a picture of this lady probably had other potential unalivers. This case rests totally on some DNA trace of him found under her fingernail. We don't know how strong that DNA evidence is because we are going nowhere fast in this case. all of this case has been about the custody battle between the victim and her ex-husband. Her ex-husband is in Italy at the time of the unaliving, doesn't enter the U.S. till 6 days later. The defendant in the case knows the husband and probably, I think we could say it's been proven now, helped him 2 months before, sent envelopes with pictures of the deceased in states of undressed and probably also states of coitus to people who knew her. And then you can say, well, that's not nice. No, but they were in a very, very bad custody battle. She had given up custody over her kid, and then she won it back by one of the worst guardians in Leiden we saw yesterday, a woman who claimed that the daughter had it really good at that house because she ate sushi and avocado. Anyone eating sushi or avocado knows that's not a good life. It's horrible food. And also, when you're getting CP'd because your mom and her fiance allegedly sold those pictures, and in the civil suit there's also an allegation they let other people have access to the daughter. There's a lot of things I can't say because of YouTube. You can paint outside the lines yourself. We have mentioned the defendant's name maybe 7 times, 8 times, 3 days into the trial. We have talked more about the Italian custody system than we have talked about the unaliving. We don't even know about the DNA yet, but I think everyone in chat is rooting for them to open the door so they can talk about the CP, because we really want this lady to pay for. Well, she did pay for it, but it opens up the door for potential 1,000 other suspects. There's also the rose petals strewn around the body. No, it looked like someone had been fighting and trashed a bouquet of wildflowers, and there was also a little baggie of Colombian fun powder at the house. But her sister said she didn't do any of that, and neither did the sister, and she didn't know anything about it. And there was rumors that she had been an escort years before. So the case, we don't talk about the case. This case has nothing to do with what we are watching. And it's all the stuff we really want to have in here that's the interesting part, because I think the second they hear that they found thousands of images and videos on their devices of the cheese pizza with the daughter, I think the jury just stand up and say, jury nullification, see you later.
It has tabs, and each tab will give you different information on the phone. And user's account is one.
Oh yeah, and they had Taco Tuesday, so it didn't mean anything that she got a little.
I'm going to show you what states exhibit 170. It's already in
Yeah,
evidence.
the door has been
And we'll go through it.
smashed
Is that
1,000
on the,
times.
Is that the user accounts?
That is.
Okay. All right. So let's
The
take a look
case
at it.
on the face of it isn't that confusing, but yesterday they showed us a video of the defendant in a navy blue hoodie with a white coat interior, white. Well, inside of the shirt was white, and they said that's the same he wore at the crime scene, because they have a picture of someone biking. He's biking in a black hoodie that has no white on the inside of the hood. It's total BS. Well, you should join me on YouTube. I set it up on the wrong place. It is a wild case. Hey, Linda. No, you missed the area code from Knoxville, but you can just ask the expert. Well, he doesn't know that, but...
So up at the top right here Is that how we're identifying?
Hey, Dave.
user
See,
accounts?
haven't seen you in a
All right,
second.
so what is user accounts going to show?
Oh, this is Cellbrite reports.
It'll show if they have a WhatsApp, a Facebook page, it'll identify those and actually sometimes give you the information you need to, if you need to send off a legal process for that account.
All right, so I'll refer you to column number 3, for example. What is that?
I'm sorry, column,
Yeah, column, I'm looking at the numbers on the left side.
oh, okay,
Yeah, so number 3.
okay. That's ZachDavidHughes@gmail.com.
And so is that the information that would have been put on this report from that phone?
That's correct.
So what does that tell you, me, or whoever's looking at this thing?
It just tells you that one of the users on that phone has an email account of ZachDavidHughes@gmail.
Okay. What about number 6 and 7?
SDG Piano at Yahoo, and then the Beethoven Odyssey at gmail.com were additional accounts that were on that phone.
Those accounts was created in
information-
2015, 2018, and 2019.
Given to us, given to the solicitor's office, given to investigators to help identify whose phone that is.
It helps, yes.
Okay. All right. So
No.
are there additional reports called device events?
There are.
All right. What's a device events report?
The iPhone will pick up an extremely large amount of activity that you're doing on your phone every day. It will show if you turn the device on, if you turn it off, if the screen comes on, the screen goes off. If you rotate it from the to landscape mode or portrait mode to landscape, it tells that you did that. It's a treasure trove of information of what's going on with that phone in the hands of the user.
And do y'all use this in investigations to help determine what that phone was doing during a certain amount of time?
Correct.
And is it able to tell you certain things?
It is.
Okay. Will it tell you when the phone's plugged in or unplugged?
Correct.
For example? Okay. And did you run a report on Zach Hughes' phone for device events?
I did.
All right.
I am wearing a solid black sweatshirt today, yes.
Let me show you state's exhibits.
This is a standard Cellbrite report. I have watched this in every case we have used Cellbrite. We have this report. This is how Cellbrite writes data. This should be with every report in the care and read case, because this is the data they use. This is the raw data output you get from Cellbrite. So everyone should have that. And if they don't have that, it must be because the magic guy who writes all the code, but really is a sales rep, didn't use it.
Exhibit 175. Do you recognize that exhibit?
Yes, this is a copy of the device events
For whose phone?
for Zach Hughes' phone.
It should be in evidence. I have never, again, I've only been doing this for 12 or 16 years in Denmark. I have never seen any Cellbrite report where you didn't use the Cellbrite report. You'll normally have the raw data. That's what we are shown in court. The police will always try to use the one they have used, where they write on the right side, you can see the suspect. No, because we are the finder of the facts also in Denmark. So we'll just see if there's a picture. We'll see that. We'll see the geolocation. We'll see the date. We'll see all the raw data. That's a Cellbrite report. I've never ever heard about a case where it's not available, and on that alone, they shouldn't be allowed to bring in any overlaying report if they don't show the raw data.
Our state moves 175 into evidence.
Objection. Objection.
All right.
I know morning session was gone as well. You are more than welcome. You'll make me happy as a little pig and mud if you just say from the fat guy from Denmark. But other than that, you are more than welcome. And thank you for thinking of it. You're always welcome. Your spleen hurts. I don't even know where my spleen is.
So I'm going to start with column 1. You can all see it there. All right, so tell us what that column 1 is, and we're just going to go down the columns, and you can tell this jury, what is this telling you?
That just, it gives you the time, it's a time date stamp for the
Yeah.
value of the event that you're
This
looking at.
is a Cellbrite report.
So the event type tells you what the event is.
Correct.
Notice this little column over here that says deleted. Isn't it fun how this is here? On a normal Cellbrite report, it says if stuff is deleted or not.
Correct.
The value tells you kind of what it's doing.
Correct. In other words, device plug-in status, it's going to show you basically in the values that it was plugged in.
All right. And what about this source over here?
That just tells you basically where it was found by the Cellbrite program in the database. That's where it extracted it out.
So looking at number 1, what's the date and time and the end time, and what was the event?
It was on October 13th at 4:30 a.m., and it was plugged in.
So is that telling you that somebody plugged in their phone to charge it?
Correct.
So that would require manual manipulation.
Yes.
All right. And let's go to number 2.
Basically, it's 10:13 at 4:30 a.m. It's telling you that the phone was unlocked.
So how would somebody unlock a phone?
Usually either Face ID, thumbprint, put the passcode in. One of those usually would be the way to do it.
Would that mean the phone is in somebody's hand
Right.
or being
Yeah.
manipulated by a person? Is that
Correct.
fair? All right. And so number 3?
At 5:56 a.m. on the 13th, it's telling you that the phone was unlocked.
And same analysis
thing.
applies.
Correct.
All right. Number 4?
At 6:02, the phone is unlocked.
And number 5?
At 6:09 a.m., the phone was again unlocked.
All right. And this is all on October 13th, 2020.
All of these are, yeah, everything I think on this report is the 13th.
So I'll refer you to number 5.
Again, the phone is unlocked at 6:09.
Number 6.
Phone again unlocked at 7:06.
Number 7.
Phone again unlocked at 7:07.
And then number 8.
The phone is again unlocked at 7:41.
What is the end time on number 8?
I'm sorry.
The end time? Is that a start time and an end time? Oh, I'm sorry.
Move it up just a tad.
Move it up.
There you go.
There you go.
7:42.
All right. So then I'm going to show you column number 9. What is that? Column number 9.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. At 7:42 a.m., the device is plugged in.
And then what about the end time?
End time is 11:34.
And then I'm going to go to number 10, and then we're going to go back to number 9. But what's number 10?
10 is at 10:34, the device is plugged in.
Is that 11:34?
I'm sorry, 11:34.
Device is plugged in. All right, so explain to this jury what this gap in time is. We've got 7:42 to 11:34.
It's just showing that the phone has not been manipulated, plugged in, turned on, unlocked, any of those normal things that happen with the phone,
It's not being utilized.
not being utilized.
All right. And then it continues
Thank
on.
you.
For example, number 13, what's going on at number 13?
Okay, at 11:35, you're having a orientation change of the phone to landscape, means he was,
So when they claim that it was weird that he didn't use his phone, it was plugged in at home. And then there was a little blip where it plugged in again for a second, which could be just a bad connection. What are we proving here now?
looking at it like this, turned it and was looking at it in that mode.
So that would require physical manipulation of the phone.
Correct.
Go from a vertical phone to a horizontal phone.
Correct.
All right, and then, for time's sake, does it just continue? What about number 16?
16 at 1:21 p.m., the output speaker is turned on.
And what time was that?
That was at 1:21 to 1:41.
And then what about number 17?
Change of landscape at 1:21.
And again, number 18?
You have another orientation landscape at 1:41.
And let's go back up to the top of this report. What time in number 19?
19 again, speaker activation at 1:48 p.m.
I'll skip to what about number 22?
22, you have a speaker activation at 2:22 p.m.
Okay. And what's the end time on that?
3:50 p.m.
All right. And so I'm going to take you to number 83, just sort of the end of this report on the 13th. So what was the last thing that the Zach Hughes phone did on the 13th
He unlocked it at 11:40 p.m.
that night? Okay. The night of the 13th.
Correct.
Okay.
What am I missing here? Why are we going over when he opens and locks his phone? Why don't we see what he does with his phone?
Print out any more reports?
Gosh, yeah.
Lots of reports.
Yes.
Did you do a report entitled Timeline?
I did.
Okay. And
I'm so lost what this case is about. He locked his phone, he's unlocked his phone, he turned off his speaker.
76? You recognize that report?
Yes, that is a timeline.
Is that the timeline for application usage log?
Correct.
You want to-
Oh, usage log. Now we'll get into what he used his phone for. Get me the
So I'm showing
Google
you-
search for the address.
You can just tell us about the number one line and what that means and at what time.
Just that application usage log stating that on 10/13, 2021 at 7:06 a.m., the application usage log, he was logged in to his
And what is the description?
VPN, Express VPN.
What is that?
VPN is just a way of a private logging in to the internet.
And so what is application usage log?
Application usage log, it's just what it says. It's the usage of that particular thing on that day.
Is it tell you the usage of a particular app or an application?
Correct.
Okay, and so it tells you when you use a certain application or if it, let me ask you
Correct.
this. If it's not on there, that means you're not using it. Is that correct?
Most likely, yes.
So I'm going to show you number 6, what is the application usage log?
That's 10/13/2021 at 7:07 a.m. And that's
What?
the
What?
ExpressVPN.
All right, is that the last application usage log on Zach Hughes' phone on the 13th?
It is.
So he used a VPN. Why didn't you look at the one where it says Swiss cows?
Yeah, I think
That was more
there's
interesting.
coming.
All right, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna ask you about, what about an application, a report from the Cellbrite regarding wireless networks?
Correct.
All right, will that show what wireless networks you connected to along the way?
It will.
We'll show you States Exhibit 177.
Yeah.
Is that the wireless networks report that you ran?
It is.
Your Honor, State moves 177 into evidence.
I did use NordVPN, but I had to stop it because it slowed down my streaming. Oh, interesting. Now,
So, what is the wireless networks report?
I'm sorry, what now?
What is the wireless networks report?
It shows when somebody connects to a wireless network that's available to them.
All right. I'm going to refer you to line number 3.
So that's a when Wi-Fi is the name of the Wi-Fi, and then it's showing that it auto-connected on 10/13 at 2021 at 1:17 p.m.
So, at 1:17 on the 13th, Zach Hughes' phone was connected to the Win Wi-Fi.
Correct.
And you just heard testimony. Where is the Win Wi-Fi located?
799 Indian Flats up in Marietta.
All right. And what does last auto-connected mean?
That means the last time it auto-connected. In other words, he didn't have to put in the password. He drives up the house, walks up, whatever, and it connects, just like mine does it, my office and at home. I never have to do anything to it to get it to connect.
All right. Did you run a report entitled Web History?
I did.
And what is Web History going to show you?
It's just the where he goes on the web during any particular time.
let's hope he doesn't do the dirty sites. I want to see some Cornhub, some X videos, some of the good things. If you can't see it by now, Jemima, I think the rest of us know quite clearly what this shows. What's wrong with this guy?
178? Do you recognize that?
I do.
And is that the Web History search for October 13, 2021? Was that Hughes?
It is.
Our state moves 178 into evidence.
Yes, it'll still show you. It'll show your device was in incognito mode.
So I'm going to show you line, let's just start with 321. Tell this jury how this works, like how you read this report.
It just basically is that first one is it's telling you the
So, what was he searching? Psst. Home team barbecue Google search. Google doesn't really say what does it says. Home team Google search.
Google search that he did, and it was done on 10/13/2021 at 8:22 p.m. in the evening.
All right, I'm going to take you back to the end of the report. These reports sometimes start from early in the day and then go all the way
Right, you read them backwards.
backwards? All right, so at 3:40, sorry, 3:40, what time was, that would be his first search on October 13th.
I don't know if you can tell what it says up there. I remember her. Nephrodite. Oh, she's not that old. She's around my age, 27. But Carmen Electra was hot in Baywatch. Yeah, Nephrodite.
Correct.
2021, right?
Correct.
So the first search was at what time?
It was at 4:23 p.m. on the 13th.
And this right here just tells you what he was logged into.
Correct.
So he's
So you
having
wouldn't do any web searches in the morning of October.
an afternoon
No.
wank.
Were you able to run a report called call logs?
I was.
And what is the call log report going to show?
Basically, the call log shows you the calls that he received, made.
Yeah, just like me,
the
27.
Duration that the call was.
All right, I'm going to show you states exhibit 179. Ask you to identify it.
This is the call log for the 13th.
Oh, Zachary's phone?
Correct.
All right. So you just testified, you gotta have to start backwards and work forward, right? Is that the easiest way to review these?
Yeah, if you're wanting to do it in a
chronological
chronological order.
Okay. All right, so we'll start with 16 and 17. What are the dates there?
Okay, those are on October 12th at 3:05 p.m. and 6:55 p.m.
On the 12th.
12th, those were on the 12th.
All right. And then moving on columns 15 and 16. Sorry, 15 and 14. Let's go to 15.
Call John Mello.
Okay, on that is a incoming call received from John Mello.
Lasted an hour and 53 minutes.
2021 at 7:01 p.m. Duration is an hour and 53 minutes.
All right, so that first number up here, whose number is that?
That would be the number of for John Mello's account.
And then what is this number right here?
That would be the number associated with Zach Hughes' WhatsApp.
And that is using WhatsApp. Can you make phone calls through WhatsApp?
You can.
And what was the duration of that call?
1 hour and 53 minutes.
On October 12th,
Correct.
at what time?
7:01 p.m.
That's 7 o'clock at night.
Correct.
What about column 14?
That's a call from Zach Hughes to John Mello. It's an outgoing call. It took place also on the 12th of October at 8:54 p.m. and it was 2 minutes and 19 seconds.
And so that call was at what time?
8:54 p.m.
And then going to column 13.
It's a call from Zach Hughes' WhatsApp account to John Mello's WhatsApp account. It took place on 10/13/2021 at 3:50 p.m., and it was an hour and 20 minutes.
So,
So
what?
that's on October 13th, 2021 at 3:50 in the afternoon
Correct,
for a duration of an hour and 20 minutes.
correct.
And then number 12,
Number 12 is from John Mello to Zach Hughes, 10/13/2021 at 7:01 p.m., 14 seconds.
and then number 11,
A call from Zach Hughes to John Mello on the 13th of October, 7:15 p.m. for 19 minutes and 46 seconds.
and then I'll refer
Again,
you
what-
back to
what-
number 8.
Call from John Mello to Zach Hughes on 10/14 at 2:05 p.m. for 22 minutes.
Right, so that's the day after the murder.
Correct.
And then what about number 7?
It's a call to Max Hyde Law Firm on the 14th of October at 2:10 p.m. for 2 minutes and 39 seconds.
And what about number 6?
It's a call to Isabella Mello on 10/14/2021 at 2:16 p.m. for 34 seconds.
And then number 5?
Another call back to Max Hyde Law Firm at 3:44 p.m. on the 14th of October, 2 minutes and 23 seconds.
And then number 4?
Can you pull it down just a tad? Okay, there you go. It's a call from Isabel Mello incoming to Zach Hughes on the 14th of October.
Just if you're thinking about calling Hyde Law Firm, because calling a lawyer, we know that means you're guilty. Our services, business law, divorce law, civil law, eminent domain, family law, personal injury, real estate, wills, estate planning. Maybe because he was helping his buddy who was in a custody battle. It could be the divorce law and civil law. There's no criminal law here. So he's not calling the law firm because he had done something that he needed to hide. And he was talking to Mello's daughter, probably, because he was in a custody battle and he was helping him.
At 3:46 p.m., not answered.
And number 3?
Call to Isabel Mello, 10/14/2021 at 3:47 p.m., 3 minutes and 22 seconds.
Our state moves 179 into evidence. I may have forgotten.
It's been a lot of exhibits.
It's a lot. I'm sorry. I get in my groove. No objection.
Thank you. 179 comes in.
Take them down to the last report.
Thank you.
So the last report is called Activity Sensor Data. What is that?
That is, if you have an iPhone, it's your activity app on there, steps, flights of stairs climbed, distance traveled during your activity.
Especially an attorney that has nothing to do with criminal law. That's a big red flag. It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we're getting all the highlights. Why are you so slow?
Wait. You recognize it?
I do.
Is that the activity sensor data?
It is the activity sensor data.
State moves 180 in evidence. No objection.
Objection, 180.
All right. And again, if you want to start beginning of the day, work backwards. So I'll start you with page 6 of the report. I guess that's it. All right. So explain to the jury the first column there, or columns.
Okay, the first column, 16, is showing that the time frame between 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. on the 13th of October, the activity that took place during that time.
So on down here at the bottom on 10/13 at 5:39 a.m., it says distance traveled.
Correct.
So what was the distance traveled at 5:39 a.m.?
51 meters.
And then at 5:57, how many meters were traveled?
4.23 meters traveled.
Now, I'm certain that for your phone to register this information, you have to have it on your person.
Correct.
If it's sitting on a table when you're walking around, it's not going to magically
No, it's not going to pick anything up.
pick anything up.
No.
So let's go to from, I guess, the time frame 6 to 7 o'clock.
6 to 7 o'clock on the 13th of October. Between that period of time, the actual breakdown of when it actually took place was the distance. Which one do you want first? Speed? Okay, steps were at 6:10, 6:11. You got a one flight of stairs. Distance traveled 21 meters, and the speed was 1.29.
Then we'll go from the time frame of 7 a.m. to 8 a.m.
7 a.m. to 8 a.m. If you could move it up just a tad. Okay, from 7 to 8 o'clock, you had two flights of stairs climbed. At 11:50, 11:37, you had one.
No, I think got 14 from 7 to 8 a.m. At 7:41, how many steps were made?
At 7:41, you had 41 meters traveled.
Okay. So that's at 7:41 a.m.
Correct.
And then when is the next activity on this phone?
So there's no other activity picked up by the phone as user activity until 11:35. Looks like the earliest time, 11:35 a.m. on the 13th.
All right, so let's start at 11:35 and work our way up on distance traveled, flights climbed, and steps, because that would be between 11 and 8 o'clock, right? I mean, 11 and 12 o'clock.
11, that's your time frame, 11 to 12.
Okay. All right, so not to be confusing, at 7:41, the last step was 41 meters.
Correct.
Indicated right there.
It was 41 meters at 7:41 a.m.
All right, and then the next activity with the phone in hand
Correct.
is what time?
11:35 a.m.
Okay, and then at 11:35, what happens?
Didn't they say earlier that the phone had no movement until 3 in the afternoon?
You have 79 meters traveled.
All right, and then 11:48,
11:48, you have 37 meters,
and 11:58,
156 meters.
and as far as flights climbed at 11:37.
You had one flight, and then at 11:50, you had two.
All right, and then as far as steps are concerned, at 11:35,
11:35, 115 steps,
11:48,
62,
and And of course, 11:58.
249.
Now let's move up to the time frame of 11 to 12. I'm sorry, 12.
He's sitting here looking,
12 to
but he wants the evidence to be shown as big as possible.
All right. So this is the time frame from 12 to 1. What time does it start as far as speed is concerned?
Speed, it starts at 12:07 p.m.
And what is the speed at 12:07?
It's 1.35 meters per second,
You know, is that somebody walking?
taking a step.
And then, and so that speed is measured up until when?
To 12:59, 47 seconds, just shy of 1 o'clock.
So what about from 12:08
So
to
he's taking a
12:07
1-hour
distance
trip.
traveled?
You have, at 12:08, you got 316 meters. At 12:18, you have another 88 meters.
Sophia 6.
12:23, 33 meters.
He's
12:33.
roughly a kilometer.
Another 211, 246, 211, and then at 12:58, you have 229.
And then flights climbed?
Flights climb, you have one flight recorded.
And then what about your steps from 12:08?
No, because the speed is walking distance. It's a meter a second. He moved within an hour. He moved roughly a kilometer, a little over a kilometer.
to 12:57.
You have 477 at 12:08, at 12:18, 138, 12:23, 51, 12:33, 343, 12:46, 340, and at 12:57, 359.
So would that be consistent with somebody, say, cleaning their car and walking around the woods? Which you're on. And then I'm going to go to number 16 at the bottom there. What is that time frame?
Okay, you got from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. on the 13th, and that is distance traveled is 51 meters at 5:39 a.m. At 5:57 a.m. you have 4.23 meters traveled, and then stepwise at 5:39 you have 68 steps, and at 5:57 you have 9.
All right. And I jumped ahead. I'm going to go back to the areas of 1 to 2. 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on the 13th. Again. And you can just summarize Investigator Perry for 10:13 at 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock.
You have distance traveled 515 meters, 3 flights of stairs climbed, and maximum speed of 1.3 meters per second.
And then from the time frames of 2 to 3,
You have total distance 61 meters, 1 flight, and maximum speed 1.09.
I have no idea what this means. Was he on the phone at the same time? Because if he was talking to the guy for an hour and 20 minutes, it could be totally reasonable. He thought, yeah, I'm going to walk out in the woods while I'm talking on the phone. I have a buddy of mine who calls, and I know it's going to last for forever. Sometimes I just put it in my earbuds and start walking. You would never call me for an hour and 50 minutes. If you did, I would just forward you to Jamie. Yeah, we're pros at this.
Investigator Perry, if you'll just answer any questions the defense may have.
No, it wouldn't be consistent with him traveling on a bicycle, but again, this is also
Sure.
3-4 hours after he allegedly stabulated a woman. I don't know what we are looking at this for. Is it because they then claim he went home, was so cool and collected, he just walked for a kilometer
Next witness is
at a very slow pace?
going to take a hot minute. I don't know if you want to take an early break. And
We'll take an early.
It's gonna take a hot minute. Ooh, I like those. I'm gonna blow my nose. So what did we learn in school today, kids? After the break, we have had what have we had? We have had Mr. Ginger saying, "Yeah, I went out there. There was a Wi-Fi network," and then we had Father Time say, "Yeah, I did a cell-brite extract. Someone walked around 3 hours after the unaliving." Is it to show he was active? But the phone was in the charger. Maybe he's one of those weirdos who thinks, I'm going out to the woods, I'm leaving my phone at home. I'm going for a ride on my bicycle, I don't want to bring my phone. What, if any, evidence is this? Again, I know more about snow in Canton than I know about this unaliving. I don't. Yes, we know they were friends. We know they were in contact. He was working at his house. Apparently, he was some kind of music producer who probably he could have been talking about giving him a break or something. I don't know. I have no messages saying, could you go over and stabulate my ex-wife in the face, please? And then call a law firm that doesn't specialize in criminal law, and then call my daughter. We're 3 days in, and I'm more lost now than when we started. Yeah, a little later, it was a blizzard. You think they liked each other smoochy kisses? Well, it was a little late to find out you like guys when you have 2 kids and are in I think he was in his 50s. But again, who's blaming anyone? Zach found out a little late as well. Well, Zach didn't find out. His wife found out that he liked guys. It happens. But it's just, what is this case about? I actually had a friend who'd been together with a guy for 5 years, and then one day she came home and he said, I think I'm gay. Kind of a surprise. They were engaged to marriage and were planning to marry. I said, it's just to get out of the marriage. Love is love. Yeah, women drive men into the arms of other men. Can someone tell me what this case is about? We haven't heard the defendant's name mentioned as many times as Mello's name. We still don't know why they believe he was at the crime scene, other than a hoodie that clearly isn't the same hoodie. I'm not even sure they can prove it's the same bicycle. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. That's Hathaway. Yeah, so far we're having a really bad custody case. He's harassing her. She's making money of CP with her child. Really bad custody case. But still don't have the stipulation other than, well, he had multiple knives at his house. So do I. I have butter knives, I have cake knives, I have bread knives, I have fillet knives, I have vegetable knives. I have a lot of knives in my house. It's nothing illegal in having a knife. If you can't prove that knife was used to a stipulation, yeah, but it wasn't once if you got paid $20. As I learned when I was in Knoxville, prices are real low. I had to do at least 4 times to get $20. Isn't that the song the band was playing at the night John O'Keefe was on Alive? No, that was Go Home to Hickens and he'll stump your face in. It was kind of prophetic. It was a new song. They haven't played it since then. They thought it was a little too on the nose. Yeah, and the way he was sitting there with his mouth, it was weird. Are you going to Bucky's tomorrow? Get the $70 Hulk Hogan t-shirt. It felt like it's going to be hell to wear. Yeah, I had a buddy. Well, I used to play music with a guy who was in denial as well, and he had 3 kids. So it wasn't because it didn't work, but when I think it was like 40 when he came out and said, but 3 kids, well, kind of get along to go along, but 3. I had a brisket sandwich when I was at Bucky's. That was good. Well, 10 times 0 is still 0, right? Big bucking brisket sandwich. I don't even... Did they sell fries there? I didn't see any fries. I don't know what I would get. I'll have to go back and have the real Bucky's experience one more time when we haven't spent 10 hours in Dollywood. So you're a little tired and you just want to go home. So, yeah, you can have some beef jerky. I saw a lot of beef jerky there. I'm not a big fan of beef jerky. You didn't try the right beef jerky. I don't know. I tried teriyaki, don't like that. I did the normal beef jerky, didn't like that. So they do have some chips, yes, but that's not fried. That's in a bag. Oh, and you have to try the bathroom. Apparently, it's really good. Well, I tried it. I don't know if it's the life-changing experience everyone makes it out to be, but it had a good flush. We have to do something to fill our time. Let's talk about food, because we can't talk about the case because nothing happens in this damn case other than this is how a real Cellbrite extract looks. How many of you saw that in the Karen Reed case? None of you, because they didn't use it. If you looked at it, it had the source code, it had everything. And I want to find out what Swiss Cows is, because it was at that website. Is it something... Oh, it's a private and anonymous search engine. So that's what he was using. He was using a VPN and... yeah, so what? the jury isn't allowed to take notes. I think Jemima does. If you're on the Discord, she does like small written notes on the case. I do small videos, recaps. But today, when I'm gonna do my recap tomorrow, it'll be talked about an envelope. Then we talk about some Wi-Fi. There was some phone data that showed he possibly was the guy who sent the envelopes. Then we learned the postcode for Knoxville. Then we saw a Cellbrite report, but other than him charging his phone for 4 hours, apparently means he deleted someone. I don't know what happened. Well, then you have to flush a lot. I didn't have any. I forgot to buy some. I like to have some garlic baguettes with when I'm having soup, and I had soup tonight, so didn't have any bread. Ugh. Put a pillow in the bathroom now. I'm not sleeping in my bathroom. Well, I have underfloor heating out there, so. But it's. I don't want to sleep on a stone. No. Do I like ølpølse? Beerwurst is pretty good. It's like a salami. This should be an easy not guilty. Well, we still have the DNA we still haven't heard about. I think the DNA will probably sink him if we can't get into the cheese pizza. Are they going to call Mello's daughter? Are they going to call Mello himself? This is going to be very interesting. Because they are keeping the people on that must have known about the CP on the phones. And they kept that horrible lady from The Guardian ad litem. She was also kept on to potentially be recalled. So I'm thinking they are just waiting for the fastball they can hit outside the fence and then go full bore on this victim. You're having a snowstorm. Well, we had snow last night, but it's almost melted now. Yeah, the boyfriend, that was a weirdo. Gator turkey. I don't know if that's good. Doesn't that taste a little bit like people? Where was it I saw that? Oh yeah, I think I was on a Joe Rogan or something, where someone was in Africa to help hunt down, they have these Nile crocodiles that are really, really aggressive. And they were helping a small city because even they tried all the stuff to try and, because they need the water from the river because it's a poor place. And even though they had almost all different kinds of guards to try and keep the crocodiles out, they just they jumped people. They were people hunters. He said everyone in that town had injuries after being bit. That was and they live so far away from everywhere. So if you get bit, yeah, you're dead. Well, I didn't get an invite. I have no invitation for Valentine's Day. Well, I'll probably get one from the expert. But I need some sleep. Sorry, just blowing the horn again.
I'm Jimmy. How y'all doing?
You know what we do?
Yes,
When did you first meet Maureen?
this is the summer of 14.
And where did you meet her?
We need a Jimmy in this case. A Jimmy or a Roger or our everyone's beloved.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't have cared?
No,
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
no,
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
probably did. Everybody has.
So that-
Everybody has.
The judge is like, the hell did you just?
It's a crime only 36 people were watching that stream. That guy was wonderful. We had the old lady. Well, the old lady was just... she didn't say anything funny. She wasn't like the old biddies in the... I can't even remember his Thomas Randolph case where he was rude to us. He didn't answer me when I asked him questions. He turned off his hearing aids. Yeah, because you're an old biddy that just talks. That's sometimes you're lucky with cases. Sometimes you have this case. And again, we're wasting so much time. So much time. You could I don't know what they want to prove with this Cellbrite report. It's who's going to tie all of these pieces together? The lead detective, the forensic expert. I'm just lost. But yeah, I have a hard time. And they are doing these time jumps all the time. Then they have a witness talking about this. Then it's a witness talking about that. Then we're back to talking about the stuff the other one talked about. Then we have some guy who checked for Wi-Fi, and it's all over the place. It's really hard to try and do a timeline, because normally you'll build the case. You normally start with the first responder or the 911 call, and then you'll build up and get the lead investigator or the coroner in the end. But this case, we started with the 911 call, then the first responder, the 911 call, then the fiance who found her, then the first responder, and then we went to people who took pictures and people who took bugle swabs, and then really nothing, just a lot of evidence put in. And yesterday we were doing the evidence thing, and then we had the sister who was horrible, in my opinion, as a witness. She came off very untrustworthy. And then you had that guardian ad litem who was even worse. And then today we are back with technical evidence about envelopes. So it's this roller coaster that doesn't make sense. I don't know why. It's really weird to follow this case. The only thing this judge is doing is keeping out the CP. And I really think with all the bad stuff's been said about Mr. Mello, and because he's connected to him, that reflects badly on him, they should be allowed to talk about the CP. I don't know why they're not allowed to do it. Oh, I didn't get that he was putting gloves on. Maybe I'll need to find his testimony, and then tomorrow when we have one of these way too long breaks, we can replay it and just listen to it one more time. Yeah. What if any is Cellbrite? What if any is your qualification? I loved it when he was so stuck in his way of asking questions. Do you have children? Yes, I have 2 children. They're 6 and 8 years old, and their name is Marissa and Jemima. How old are your children? 6 and 8. What are their names? Marissa and Jemima. He just couldn't get out of. He had to ask the same question the same way every single time. I don't know if he was paranoid freak. I just think he had a history with the popo. Can you look up if he's on a register? Was that why she had to have the visitation with the sister? Because I was wondering about that when the sister was there yesterday. If she lived most of the time when they had their mercurial relationship with Mr. Post, but had to be at the sister's house when they had the visitation, was it because it was known that Mr. Post had a history? It was the first time he was caught. Yeah, he's a weirdo. He was hanging around at a cigar bar picking up a 20-year-old girl when he was 41. I wish I could speedrun it like you. Today we spent 45 minutes talking about 7 different envelopes and where they were shipped from. They had the same content, which were some nudie pics of her, and they were shipped from different locations. Then we talked about a Cellbrite report. We're never told why we're looking at the evidence. No proof so far other than he probably harassed her. And he knew Mr. Mello. Yeah, you're going to have a great night.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Yeah, she was way too combative. But she's in a custody battle with the bio dad.
Jared Sparkman,
Investigator Sparkman, with whom are you employed?
Greenville County Sheriff's Office,
And how long have you been with the Greenville County Sheriff's Office?
since 2016.
And what is your current role there?
I'm the sergeant of the homicide unit.
And what is your prior employment history?
Nothing really.
Law enforcement.
After I graduated from the University of South Carolina in
Go
2008,
Gamecocks.
I began my law enforcement career with the Anderson County Sheriff's Office in 2011 after I graduated the Criminal Justice Academy. I was there until 2016. I went to Greenville County Sheriff's Office in uniform patrol. I was in uniform patrol for about a year. I went to work in the white collar investigations unit. From there, I was promoted to the rank of master deputy in the armed robbery unit. I was there for a
Haven't
period
seen
of
any.
time, and then in 2020, I went to the homicide unit. I was there until 2023. I got promoted to the rank of sergeant. I went back to uniform patrol. I was there for a few months until a sergeant position came open in homicide, and that's where I currently am. I have attended multiple advanced homicide classes. There's a 2-week class that the University of Louisville puts on that's a very prestigious class, multiple other week-long classes. for homicide investigations, along with other advanced week-long classes such as shooting reconstruction, interview and interrogation, classes like that.
And are you the, one of the lead detectives or investigators in this case?
Yes, sir.
And how did you become the lead in this particular case?
So on October 13th, 2021, it was a Wednesday, around 11 o'clock, I was at my desk at the Law Enforcement Center. I was made aware that there was a homicide in Greer. I was deemed to be the lead investigator on the case. I was tasked with being the lead investigator on the
So now we have the lead investigator. We still don't have any of the tech stuff in, but at least we have a lead detective. Maybe he can put it all together.
case, and then I responded to the scene.
All right, so tell this jury about responding to the scene and what you saw and what'd you do?
When I got there, I meet with Uniform Patrol, get as much information as I can from them. For a homicide investigation, there's a lot of things that need to be done and a lot of things that need to be done fairly quickly.
Oh,
So I delegated tasks.
you're sweet when you're lying.
What about, do you assess the scene and meet with different parties to figure out the situation?
Yes, sir. So one of the people that was on scene was Bradley Post. I know Bradley Post arrived in a small red Mercedes sports car. I was advised that he found his fiancee, Christina Parcell, deceased in the house. And then Mr. Post then went back to the Law Enforcement Center to be interviewed while I remained on scene.
And are you gathering sort of background information about the victim and the residents of everyone who's living there?
Yes. That house was lived in by Christina Parcell and her sister Tina, along with Christina's daughter Ida. I know that doing some other background investigations at that house that there was priors for harassment and stalking that Ms. Parcell had filed a complaint on.
And do you then start deciding how you're going to attack the case?
Yes. So, like I said, we delegate tasks. One of the first things that I like to do that's important because it's time sensitive is capture cameras. I asked Investigator Stokes to canvass the neighborhood to look for any ring cameras, talk to any witnesses. A lot of times those ring cameras, or whatever cameras they are, if they're recording for nonstop, the data, the information, the footage that I need may not be there by the time I need it. So that's a time sensitive matter.
All right. And did y'all start looking for ring cameras and those kind of things?
Yes, sir.
And were you delegating those out?
I was.
All right. Were one of your leads to an individual named Alex Hughes?
Yes, sir.
All right. And did you talk with him about any relationship to this case?
I did.
All right. And was it standard policy for you when you talk to somebody at this early in the stage, would you take a DNA sample of them?
Yes, at this point, we didn't have a lead. We didn't have a good lead. So anybody that we come in contact with that we feel like has a connection, we'll get a DNA sample.
I'm going to show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 181 and ask you if you can identify that.
Oh, the mic does work.
Give me over. Yes. This is still sealed, but I know that inside of this is the buccal swab that I got from Alex Fields.
So you did take his buccal swab?
I took it myself, yes, sir.
How did you do that?
It's a cotton swab. It's like a long Q-tip. You just swab it inside of their cheeks. You get 2 of them. You put it in a container, you put the lid on it, and you seal it up.
And is that your JDS1? Is that?
Yes, sir.
You?
That's me. Yes, sir.
Jared
First,
Swab?
middle, and last name. Yes, sir.
And once you take the swab, you secure it in a tube,
Yes, sir.
and then what do you do with it?
I secured in property and evidence.
So y'all are out the scene, you're looking for any leads that you can possibly get. What's your first big break?
Investigator Stokes comes to me. I'm speaking with
Defense have no questions for anything, and every time. Well, today they have tried to get close to opening the door again on the CP stuff, but nothing's just happening in this case. It's boring. And I don't know if because the judge have tied their hands, but there's so many follow-up questions they don't ask.
Christina's sister, Tina, in my vehicle. He comes to me and says, we got some footage from right across the street at 121 Cambridge, which y'all seen. That's huge, because not only does that give us a description of our suspect, but also gives us a time frame to start narrowing our search down for.
And so that was the ring camera of the suspect walking into the front door?
Yes, sir. That was the ring camera that shows white male in dark clothing with a backpack going into the front door of 122
He was in a white shirt, not a dark clothing.
Cambridge Drive.
And so from there, what did you necessarily do? By doing that, how does that narrow your investigation?
Well, we know that at that time, at 9:15 in the morning, we know that's when our suspect goes in. So we focus, we start at 9:15, we work our way out. We work forwards and backwards to try to get any video that we can find of the suspect entering the area, leaving the
Yeah, I think that was, yeah.
area, how he got there, things like that.
All right. So when was the first time you ever heard the name Zach Hughes?
First time I ever heard that name was October 22nd, 2021, when we were speaking with Michael Manigault in the interview room.
So that was your first lead towards him.
Yes, sir.
And up until that time, what have y'all been doing?
We've been interviewing and in as many people as we could that we feel like had information for this case. People that had connections to Mr. Mello, people that had that knew Tina, that knew Christina, just that knew everybody. We didn't have much to go on other than that ring camera. So we were just talking to as many people as we could.
Now,
You had nothing to go on with her fiance's phone full of CP?
you spoke to Mr. Manigault. Did you take his DNA sample? Not you personally, but was his DNA taken?
His DNA was taken, yes, sir.
Yeah. I think it was taken by Master Deputy Wolf.
I believe so.
Did you take his phone?
Yes, sir.
And did you send that over to be downloaded and reviewed?
We did.
So was it sort of normal protocol to take DNA samples and phones from individuals that may be potentially related to this case?
Yes, sir. There was a connection with Mr. Manigault and Mr. Mello, and obviously we know Mr. Mello was going through this heated child custody battle. And we didn't have much to go on. We were still grinding away. So we just want to get as much information as we can, and if we don't need it, we don't need it, but at least we have it.
And so was your next big break was the flock camera?
Yes, sir. When we were speaking with Mr. Manigault, Investigator Wolf, who spoke to y'all earlier, he went and did some research on Mr. Hughes and did some research, found his truck, found him on a flock camera.
You can't do that.
The day of the murder with that bicycle in the back of his truck. And that was the only day that bicycle was in the back of that truck.
So is that when y'all were able to get a warrant for 200 Tyndall?
Yes, sir.
Was that the residence of Zach Hughes?
Yes, sir.
All right. And at 200 Tyndall, is that the first time you all really laid eyes on Zach Hughes?
Yes, sir.
All right. And were you able to seize his phone?
We did.
Okay. And what do you do when you seize these phones? I know there's multiple phones. For example, you obviously seized and took the victim's phone.
Yes, sir.
Christina Parcell's?
Yes, sir.
So with Zach Hughes' phone, what do you do with it?
We take it and we get a search warrant for it, and we send it to our unit that does data extractions on cell phones, and they get as much information off of that cell phone as they can.
And now once those downloads are...
Yeah, it seems kind of odd that they found 90 pictures of his car, but they weren't really looking at him other than that guy with the cool shirt yesterday had mentioned him. But they zeroed in on him right fast.
Produced and put in that, I think Jim Perry talked about rder, and I think we spent a lot of time looking at rder just a moment ago. Do you review that with the experts on the phone side, or y'all coordinate with that information that you derive from that phone?
Yes, sir. We review it. I'll review it on my own. I'll review it with them because, they're more familiar with that process. So we do it together.
Okay. And what are you looking for inside those phones?
Looking for anything from pictures to location data to phone calls. We look through the address.
Well, this entire case is built around them seeing someone on a camera riding a black bike and then seeing a man dressed in black clothes, even though it was white clothes, enter the house. This guy just said the exact opposite of what his co-lead detective said, because he said what was worth noticing was the white interior of the hoodie, because that's what the other guy was wearing. So this guy saw a guy enter the house in black clothes, and the other one saw someone in white clothes. What the hell? Did they end the stream?
The meat and potatoes of these conversations. 9:15 in
The residents of everyone.
So on the first things that,
Y'all are out the scene. You're looking for any leads that you can.
first time I ever heard that name was October 22nd, 2021. When,
Break was the flock camera.
yes, sir.
Sorry.
When we were speaking with Mr. Manigault,
Looks like they pulled the
Investigator
stream.
Wolf, who spoke to y'all earlier, he went and did some research on Mr. Hughes and did some research, found his truck.
It won't change anything. My mic will still auto
The day of
balance.
the murder, with that bicycle in the back of his truck. And that was the only day that bicycle was in the back of it.
We're able, and at 200 eyes on Zach Hughes.
Yes, sir.
And were you able to seize his phone?
We did.
And what do you do when you seize these phones? I know there's multiple phones. For example, you obviously seized and took the victim's phone.
Yes, sir.
Christina Parcell's.
Yes, sir.
So with Zach Hughes' phone, what do you do with it?
We take it, and we get a search warrant for it, and we send it to our unit that does data extractions on cell phones. And they get as much information off of that cell phone as they can.
And now, once those downloads are produced and put in that, I think Jim Perry talked about Cellbrite Reader, and I think we spent a lot of time looking at Cellbrite Reader just a moment ago. Do you review that with the experts on the phone side, or y'all coordinate with that information that you derive from that phone?
Yes, sir. We review it. I'll review it on my own. I'll review it with them because, they're more familiar with that process. So we do it together.
Okay. And what are you looking for inside those phones?
Looking for anything from pictures to location data to phone calls. We look through the address book, messages, anything that we can get out of that phone is what we're looking through.
And on Zach Hughes' phone, we've heard some testimony to it. Were you able to locate WhatsApp messages?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall sort of the difficulty in those WhatsApp messages that you had in your investigation?
Yes, sir.
Tell this jury about that.
So those WhatsApp messages, when they were recovered from Zach Hughes' cell phone, when we got them, they were in a scrambled state. The words weren't in order how they should be. It made no sense. And the reason for that is when a WhatsApp is deleted from a device and then recovered using what they use to do the forensic download of the phone, when they're recovered, they're in a scrambled state.
And now in WhatsApp, if we communicate with each other on my phone to your phone in WhatsApp, is there any way to get that information from the WhatsApp corporate office?
No, WhatsApp is encrypted end to end. We'll send a search warrant to WhatsApp, and there's nothing they can give us as far as the meat and potatoes of these conversations. What they'll give us is the account information of each number, of each WhatsApp number, and that's basically it.
And did you in fact send a search warrant to WhatsApp?
We did.
And did you get any of these messages from WhatsApp?
No, sir.
Now, did you review all of those WhatsApps?
Yes, sir.
And about how many WhatsApps do you think you reviewed?
It was a lot, hundreds and hundreds.
Was it enough to fill a thick binder?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you went through all of those?
Yes, sir.
And in those WhatsApps, when you're reading the messages, are the words in a coherent order, or do you have to kind of analyze what they are?
I have to analyze what they are.
Okay. And did you analyze what they are in relation to the facts that of this investigation?
Yes, sir.
All right. And were you able to pull relevant WhatsApp messages that you believe to be relevant to this investigation?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to show you what's already been into evidence, States Exhibit 173.
Yeah, you make up the context then. So, but if it says
So
you,
what is
her
States
kill.
Exhibit 173?
This is the first page of the report that was extracted from Zach Hughes' cell phone. And it shows a WhatsApp conversation. And this conversation is between Zach Hughes and John Mello.
And so would this be the first WhatsApp communication between those two individuals
Yes.
that you recovered?
That we recovered, yes, sir.
What's the date of that?
December 7th of 2020.
Is that October 7th?
I'm sorry, October 7th, 2020.
I'll try. There we go. Is that better?
Yes.
yep.
And so it says instant messages, and up there, what's that number right there?
1,769.
And what does this say right here?
That says scrambled.
And is this date accurate right here? I mean, the time in which it was sent accurate?
Yes, sir.
How do you know that?
I know that when Cellbrite provides the report, they automatically adjust the time to make it correct.
So it's in Eastern
They
Standard
they
Time.
go from, they convert it, I guess is a better way to put it, convert it from UTC to Eastern Standard Time.
All right, and so this first message from Zach, and I'm assuming that's Zach up there.
Yes, this report, it pulled a picture of Zach Hughes, and also when we got the return back from WhatsApp, it did give us that picture as his profile picture. It's his picture.
Yeah.
It has his telephone number that ends in 0020, says Zachary Hughes owner.
And so what is this first message on October 7th, 2020 at 11:40 a.m.?
It says, "It's John Zach."
So when we're talking about scramble, is this an easy sort of example of the scramble?
Yes, sir. I feel confident I could unscramble that.
So what do you think? What would you derive from that as far as your investigation?
Well, knowing that this text is from John Mello, because it has right here his number at whatsapp.net and says John Mello. We know that's his number because that number was in his email signature from the Google emails that we sent. So I know it says Zach. It's John.
And you also know that, do you know that Zach spells his name Z-A-C-K?
I do know that. I know that some documents were located in his room at 200 Tyndall, and that's how his name was spelled on it.
And then this would be a response right there. And so, again, it says, what does this say?
It says scrambled.
All right, and this little dot there?
So that little red, it's an X. I'm not sure if you could see it, but it's an X, and that's on all of these messages from both parties. That means that this was a deleted WhatsApp that was recovered.
And so, who was the response from?
The response is from Zachary Hughes, and I know that because it has Zachary Hughes' phone number, ends in 0020.
And he's in green, is that correct?
Yes, sir. On all of these messages that you will see, the ones on the left in blue are all from John
Is
Mello.
on it other
On the
than
right
my
in red
man house
is
side?
Zachary Hughes.
And so what does
It is my man,
This message says,
how
I'm going to read it as is.
how is it on the other side?
Is on it other the my man how side.
What?
and
I interpret-
in your interpretation of that, this is your interpretation in relation to your investigation, correct?
Yes, sir. I interpret that as how's it going on the other side, something to that extent. And I believe I know that because I know that at this time, Mr. Mello was on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean.
So if I write is on it other the my man house side, how do you get that sentence that you just made? Because that's the words aren't even there. So it's scrambled, and then you just add and subtract the words you need to put in there. This is pure speculation. What?
In Italy, Mr. Hughes was in the United States.
And again, this was a year before the unaliving.
All right, I'm going to show you some more WhatsApps, and we'll go through them best we can.
No, but he used words that wasn't there, so he adds things to it.
I'm going to show you states Exhibit 183. See if you recognize that.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us, Drew, what that is?
This is a printout of some more WhatsApp messages between John Mello and Zach Hughes from April the 16th of 2021 to April the 17th of 2021.
Your Honor, State moves Exhibit 183 into evidence.
This is my scrambled message.
All right, you said the dates are April 16th, 2021. Put us in context of what's going on in this particular case in April of 2021.
If you recall, April of 2021 is when Christina was able to go to Italy and bring Ida back to the United States, to South Carolina.
All right. So there is the first message, and it's in blue, so who's it from?
This is from John Mello.
All right, and what does that message say?
Up in WhatsApp, you was setting sorry.
In relation to this investigation, do you have any significant interpretation of that?
It says WhatsApp in there.
WhatsApp. So you derive, it's talking about WhatsApp.
It's talking about this application.
And then the next one is, what's the date of that one?
The date is 4/17, April 17th, 2021.
At what time?
It's at 6:55 a.m.
And?
This is from John Mello. It says, secret phone number got I dude private Christina's.
All right. So how did you interpret that in relation to this investigation?
I interpret that as, dude, I've got Christina's private number.
Yeah, but can we just make up things? Dude, I got Christina's private phone number. That's not what it's... What about secret and private? So you can just take out the word secret, because you didn't use that in that sentence. Dude, I got Christina's private phone number. Yes, but what about secret? Then so private, secret, private phone number. And I'm really interested in harass shit of her 5142 weekend the 864 out 483. Is it her phone number and we can harass the shit of her? Out of her. That's what he's going to say with the next one. There's a difference from harassing and stabulating.
What looks like 2 minutes later, what's the date on that?
The same date, April 17th, 21 at 6:57 a.m.
All right. And what does that one say?
This is a message from John Mello. It says, harass shit of her 5142. We can the 864 out 483.
So how did you interpret that in relation to this case?
I believe he's providing Christina's phone number, which I know ends in 5142. He's saying harass the shit out of her.
That's, you can't say that. This is, he said harass the shit out of her. You.
Back to the top. What is that first message there?
This is a message from John Mello on April 17th of 21 at 8:33 a.m. He sends a JPEG image. You can't tell, you don't know what the image is. It didn't recover the image, only that an image was sent.
But I guess that it was the nudie pics.
Because it's encrypted, the fact that it was encrypted and the fact that it was deleted from his phone, the images weren't able to be recovered.
No, they don't text like this. This is because it's WhatsApp that scrambles the messages. It's not. They text it normally and then they deleted it, and when they retrieved it, it comes back scrambled. Email this photo to me, please. Excellent, haha. That's so it's not them scrambling, and they claimed that they were talking in code, but they didn't. It's just Cellbrite brings it back like this.
The next one?
The next one's from John Mello, same date at 8:33 a.m. It says, email please to this me photo.
And Zach Hughes' response?
Excellent, haha.
Haha.
Now, you don't know what that photo is.
No, sir.
Do you know when John Mello emailed Zach Hughes photos of Christina Parcell with no clothes on? We've looked at them all morning.
I know it was around this time. I don't recall the exact date, but I know it was around this time.
What about May, middle of May?
Yes, sir.
Sound right? All right. Back to the top.
This is a message from Zach Hughes to John Mello. The same date at 8:37, just did. He, right after that, says, of her, photo great. Great photo of her is how I see that. John Mello, just shortly after, responds with thanks. And then I bar got a.
I got a bar.
I don't have an interpretation for that.
Why can't you make something up for that? That's four words. I got a bar. Maybe he found a bar that he liked to hang out in Italy. Why have you no you knew everything else they were talking about, but you can't figure out how to scramble four words together that can only be in one way. I got a bar. Maybe it was a Browning automatic rifle. They were really popular back in the 40s. You can't figure that one out, but you could figure out all the other stuff. Maybe he found a chocolate bar.
This is also on April 17th of 21 at 8:38. Zach Hughes messages, let's talk later, next hour's teaching. I'm the 6 for but. I translate that as, let's talk later. I'm teaching. He's busy teaching something, likely piano lessons or some type of musical lessons.
Do you have any proof of that?
He then states shortly after, you stop thinking, guys, been about none.
What's that
Mr.
interpretation?
Miller responds with thanks, okay. And then thank you, brother.
2021.
This message is from John Mello, April 17th of 21 at 8:39. It states, dollar burner phone, buy cheap, a store. I interpret that he's telling him to buy cheap burner phone from a store. He then states, haha, something else, no for. And then he states, message, ignore that last, shortly after. Then Mr. Mello again states, burner pay, get, will, I, a, but.
Get a burner, but I will pay.
It looks like he's saying he'll pay for the burner phone.
Again, this is 6 months before the murder.
A lot of people use, in my training experience, they use burner phones when they don't want, what's on there.
No, WhatsApp, when you delete the messages and they are retrieved through Cellbrite, they'll come back scrambled. Then this guy will sit down like another trooper Paul and ask Cellbrite to tell it what it really means, because he'll just read it as it is and then magically the meaning will appear in his mind.
Actual phone to come out. A lot of it's used in a lot of drug deals. It's just a cheap phone that people can get. They're not associated with that number, and they can toss it when they're finished with it.
All right. I'm gonna move on to another day. I'm gonna show you State's Exhibit 184.
Because of his expertise and his knowledge. That's such a BS thing that cops can be experts in everything. Yeah, don't associate all burner phones with drug dealers. It could also be, I need you to keep an eye on my daughter, and but I want to kind of shield you from the fallout. So have a burner phone, because we're going to do some, and I think the harassment is probably him doing that.
Messages that we reviewed, we've been discussing.
These are still the WhatsApp messages in this same report from May the 15th of 2021 to May the 20th of 2021.
All right, I'm gonna show you the first one here. Who is
Have you met this defense?
Oh, sorry. State moves 184 to evidence. No objection.
This is Mr. Mello. He sends another JPEG image to Zachary Hughes. Again, we don't know what the image is. But with that image, he sends a message, and it states, my Christina, our daughters present mother, JPEG, gentlemen and ladies, Parcell. I interpret that as, ladies and gentlemen, I present Christina's mother.
And then is there a second?
There's a second image. It's another unknown JPEG image.
And what about that one?
At 8:18 p.m., the message states Warren Escort Caroline, aka Sweet. And that's relevant in this investigation because, as you saw from some of the items that were in these packages that were mailed out, Caroline Warren's name, the name Caroline Warren.
Yeah, but shouldn't this just be presented to the jury? They are the finder of facts. And he's not unscrambling it because he leaves words out. Then he should put them all in there and they should have written them next to it. Because right now he's just saying, well, I think it means this and that. This is an interpretation. Juries are the finders of fact. Do these unscrambled mean that?
Was on there.
So those were the items that were in the packages.
Yes, sir.
Show you State's Exhibit 185.
Come on. Come on. But again, remember, none of this. I can. The harassment, yes, he helped him harass him. Is it unheard of in a heated custody battle?
These are more of the WhatsApp messages between John Mello and
No.
Zachary Hughes. These are dated from May 23rd, 21 to July the 3rd of 2021.
So now we are 2 months before the murder.
Evidence. No objection. No objection. And we'll start at the top with the date.
This is from Mr. Mello to Mr. Hughes on May 23rd, 2021 at 2:13 p.m. Just states no. The following message is on the following day, May 24th at 3:42 a.m. It states, Part V is writing its best. A few hours later at 8:15, Mello states, listen, should make that you from today, Greenville, thinking I'm.
Now he doesn't.
And then a couple minutes later, he
Oh, and then he's going to sum it up that you should mail it from Greenville today.
Why did that grab your attention?
That grabbed my attention because he's talking about mailing things from.
The front door was locked when the
Greenville area.
police arrived.
And I know,
Potentially.
right, potentially, and I know that we've got these, I know about these letters that have been sent out, so it piqued my interest. Mello states on the same date at 8:17 a.m. an outside mailbox.
And then does Zach Hughes respond?
Yes, sir. Zach Hughes responds at 8:18 a.m., says, all right. He follows that up with a message, and it reads, I'm riding bike my way that. I interpret that as I'm riding my bike that way. And then right after that, he states, the message says, B want camera on truck. The camera, the truck won't be on camera.
Or there won't be a camera on the truck.
And now more from John Mello.
John Mello at 8:19 a.m., still on the 24th of May. This message reads, Charlotte Post, be your day outs info, flight mailed from in Wood, same mark, the is. Charlotte. I think you skipped over one. You come down a little bit. Then Mello states, it says puts Charlotte in you, puts you in Charlotte. Mr. Mello then states at 8:20 a.m., it says, and sunglasses, baseball, wear a hat. He's saying, wear a baseball hat and sunglasses.
Now, did you, in viewing Mr. Hughes' phone, were you able to determine whether...
Again, at this point, Did they charge him with harassment? Then just plead guilty to harassment and not guilty to the murder and say, well, you still have nothing.
Mr. Hughes visited?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes.
And what about time did
South Carolina, wherever Charlotte is.
did he visit Mr. Miller?
It was in June, early June of 2021.
How do you know that?
That is from just conversations that were pulled from messages from his cell phone.
Was there also a video on Zach's phone, Hughes, that you?
Yes, a video was pulled from Zach Hughes' cell phone, and it was a FaceTime. It was a recording of a FaceTime between John Mello and Aida Mello.
And who was doing the recording of the FaceTime?
I believe it was Zach Hughes that was doing the recording from his phone.
And who was he with in the recording?
John Mello and Zach Hughes were together.
And who was John Miller talking to?
John Mello's talking to Aida.
And about what time was that?
That was May 31st, 2021.
And was John Mello in Italy?
John Mello was in Italy. Therefore, Zach was in Italy.
All right, and then finally, they continue this conversation.
Yes, sir. They continue at 8:20 a.m. John Mello's, the message says, misspelling of phone, lobby, your, into, or Poinsett, on, go, the hotel, upstairs, down, sit, and play. I believe he's saying go to the Poinsett Hotel and sit down upstairs and play, likely the piano, because that's what his background is in. At 8:21, still on May 24th, John Mello states nice. A minute later, it says, time you post downtown 27, he has even our postman, it made camera 2 gets by office if on stops the. I know he's talking about a postman and he's talking about a camera. He then states, from come it anywhere would. I looked at that and see it could come from anywhere.
And what does Zach Hughes say?
At 8:24 a.m., it states, Balt gray baseball yesterday, a nondescript cap.
So as far as your investigation is concerned, how did you interpret that?
With these last few messages, they're obviously trying to conceal identity, trying to keep out of view of cameras that may be nearby.
And did Zach Hughes continue to respond?
At 8:24,
His charges are red rum, possession of a weapon during a violent crime, first-degree burglary, harassment, and conspiracy. Yeah, harassment and conspiracy, I think they can go with that so far. But none of the other things has done anything so far to tickle my fancy.
it states from Zach Hughes, drop just my rod in a box.
And he is not represented by state counsel. It's two different law firms.
In box. It, I'll, and somewhere outside bike.
So what is your interpretation of that?
He's talking about riding his bike somewhere and dropping something in a box outside.
Yeah, my nose because I'm sneezing all the time.
Then states, good point.
Because there is charges against the ex-husband for the harassment. Just not in this case.
Mr. Miller responds at 8:25. This message states, too hard there or find. I interpret that as they are hard to find, likely. Mr. Miller then states, office post throughs drive are at they. Something about post office.
And these are all from Mr. Mello?
Yes, sir. We're still in blue. Mr. Mello at 8:26. This message says, buying the U online or postage. I think he's saying, he's asking, are you buying the postage online? Then says, this message states, just that by UA, but B are heavy, will, Shramo, easy letters. And then stamp. is the next message. The following message is 8:27 from Mr. Mello. And Staples postage, it can sell, I think.
I'll get there sometime.
Now, earlier Zach Hughes referred to riding a bike to drop it off.
Yes, sir.
Is that important in this case?
I think it's extremely important. We obviously saw video of our suspect leaving the scene on a bicycle.
No, because there was a different clothes he was wearing.
Zach Hughes, this message says, of I know one. Then the next message is good thought. John Mello responds with, sets you getting R2. It looks like he's asking, are you getting 2 sets?
No, you see the person in black riding away
Yes.
15 minutes after the guy in white enters the house. But not the same place.
Hughes, we're at 9:04 a.m. now. This message says, you let know it was much how ow. Cash paying. And then first by IAU, updated thumb drive, go, have, I'll keep 2. John Mello responds with, cool, okay.
Thumb drive?
Thumb drive sticks out, paying cash sticks out. Obviously, it's harder to track paying cash if you use a credit
Why
card.
does the thumb drive stick out?
And what's the date of this?
There's been no mention of a thumb drive.
We're May 24th of 21. This is at 9:07 a.m. It's the next message John Mello sends, and it says, to ruin going their weekend. Going to ruin their weekend.
Who do you think there is referring to?
I think there is referring to Miss Parcell and everybody that received those letters.
Yeah.
Zach's response? Zach Hughes' response?
Yes, sir. Same date, 7:17 p.m. This message, it reads, in hold on can I-5 talk. At 8:21 p.m., the message from Zach Hughes states, before Zoom, you, yeah, Stathicus, we, if, won't, and thee can chat. Miller responds at 7:18 a.m. on the 26th at call 9:15. We are at July the 3rd of 21. This is 1:09. Zach Hughes responds with, headed Marina, friends, I'm with to thee. John Mello responds at 1:09 p.m. on July the 3rd. 1 minute call.
Which is probably,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The guy in the black clothes rides around to keep an eye. He's harassing her, yeah. But he's also keeping an eye on her going to school and everything on behalf of that. And then someone else walks into the house in a different shirt, but I would go with that for the defense.
All in 1 minute. This is at 1:45 p.m. from Zach to John. It says, it reads, sounds is on post like low funds.
now do you see how he spells post?
Yes, sir.
I'm referring to States Exhibit 2. How is post spelled on this envelope on States Exhibit 2?
It's incorrectly spelled P-O-A-S-T.
Sounds like post is low on fund. So what? How? What? What does this mean?
And what was the other response?
From Zach, it states could from benefit as well. Check blank A.
Could benefit.
Benefit from a blank check. How I look at it.
What?
All right, I'm gonna move on to October 12th. Some more WhatsApps.
So now we're getting to the day before. I want to see. I'm gonna swing by tomorrow with my stabulator.
Show your state's exhibit 186. Exhibition WhatsApp.
So now we are at the day before.
Yes, sir.
Start date on those.
Start date on this is October 12th, 2021.
Music producer.
News 186 in evidence. Go, Judge. Starts there. All right, that is John Mello in blue.
John Miller's still in blue, and this first message is dated October 12th, 2021 at 8:58 p.m. It reads, "Her arms who chopped off."
And what do you think it's referring to?
I think it should read, "Who chopped off her arms?" I think he's referring to Christina Miller, or Christina Parcell.
Photo.
Yes,
Photo of
a
Christina
photo
Parcell.
of Christina Parcell.
All right, and then this next one?
Same date. No, I'm sorry. This is on October the 13th, 2021 at 10:06 a.m. Burden.
Sorry, is this Mello
This
sending
is
this message?
from John Mello to Zachary Hughes. Burden if way, but Ada, life, like family, finally, beg down case, am lawyer love, more doomed, been a count think, than not listening is totally nothing, her it matter as I, 14 November, at would so leave, has me stake you to point, let have all even taking our due close, stay, we she, and us right of hate control, brother, no needs, was this can very far, your for come say with on thee.
What?
I don't know what it says. I know it's talking about a burden. I know that it mentions a lawyer. I know it mentions Aida.
And then what time does Zach respond on October 13th, 2021?
Zach Hughes responds at 11:36 a.m. on October 13th, 2021 with LOL.
And then again?
The next message right after, it reads, I know, brother.
Burden if way, but Ada life like family finally back down case am lawyer love more doomed been account thank than not listening is totally nothing her it matter as I 14 November at would so leave has me stake you 2 point let have all even taking do close stay we, she, and us right of hate control, brother. No needs was this can verify you for come say with on the. He mentions a lawyer. Yeah, maybe it could be the lawyer that he's harassing too because the garden had lied him. I can't even, the other ones, when they're not that long, you can kind of scramble them together. I don't even know if you could put this in AI and try to have them scramble something. I don't know. Yeah, I think, no, he gave them he had written an affidavit on behalf of the dad. Someone used Grok to make a coherent sentence using those words. Yeah, it's. I'm not that fast of a writer, but beg. The lawyer had me begging. The family lawyer had me begging. That's Twitter's AI. But burden if way but Ada life like family back down case am lawyer love more doomed been could have been a cunt maybe. Thank then not listening is totally nothing. Her it matter as I 14 November at would so leave has me stake you to point let have all even taking do close stay we she and us right of hate control brother no needs was this can very far your for come say with on the Let's see if ChatGPT can you make a sentence from this? Ada has been listening to the case very closely, but she knows that no matter what, her life and family are at stake. Even as a lawyer, she can do nothing more than stay in control and not let hate take over. Would you want me to... No. Could you make another with all the words? Here's a sentence using all the words you provided. Ada has been a lawyer for 14 years, but no matter the case, she knows that life is nothing if not doomed. Even AI can make this make sense. But clearly, it means a lot.
I know it mentions Ada.
And then what time does Zach respond?
Jemima, not everyone is as lazy as you. I am doing this to provide things for my chat. You still haven't found the nudie pics for me.
On October 13th, 2021.
Try asking him
Hughes
to
responds
unscramble
at
the sentence. Yes, I'll do that.
a.m. on October 13th, 2021 with LOL.
And then again,
The next message right after, it reads, I know, brother.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
going to, what's the date?
We're still on October 13th, 21
At what
at
time?
11:36 a.m.
And that's current time, that's local time, right?
That's local time. Zach Hughes' message states, let's talk in a bit. The following message, still on the 13th at 2:48 p.m. It reads, soon we'll working up later, catch in week, I'm never mind thee. John Mellor responds on October 13th, 21 at 2:49 p.m. And it reads, asleep till fell I was 5-man Saudi Jup.
And then Zach Hughes responds,
At 2:50 p.m. No worries, man. Still on October 13th at 2:50, John Mello sends this message, and it reads, 3 now couldn't information sense thing after another The single bit I sleep today, our raising, it's here at fees worried. Height, building 1 weeks or not lawyer. I'm maintenance in Kent of OTS about everything eat they'll my a last. And he follows that up a minute later with, and it reads, up be you or woke. Again, me night, GLSD,
Any significance?
It looks to be like it's talking about nighttime, woke me up, possibly. Zach Hughes responds at 2:51 p.m. This message reads, just manager got well, LOL, texted work at off the night. And then a minute later, Zach Hughes sends a message and it reads, chat let's in little a bit.
And then,
October 13th, 2021 at 2:52 p.m., John Mello sends Zach Hughes a message, and it reads, that did research on music, how go?
and that's October 13th, 2021.
Yes, sir.
And what did he respond?
At 2:53 p.m., the message reads, phone over, tell you good, the I'll.
And how do you interpret that?
Good, I'll tell you over the phone. And Mr. Mello responds with cool.
Is that the last WhatsApp that was ever recovered?
Yes,
All right. And do you recall Investigator Perry's testimony about how long the conversation they had in the afternoon of the 13th?
I do.
How long was that?
I believe it was about an hour and 20 minutes.
What did you interpret that music research as?
I don't believe it was really music research. I believe John Mello sent a message to Zach Hughes in code.
This is absolutely pure speculation and should never, ever be allowed to be presented in front of the jury. I believe they didn't talk about music. What would lead you with any of these messages you had before that? And I tried to do the unscramble and it couldn't do it because it was way too jumbled, it said. But you are now claiming that a music producer asking a pianist about music that he did some research for means I killed her. Finally, defense, thank you.
All right. So, Investigator Sparkman, did you also review the Gmails between John Mello and Zachary Hughes?
Yes, sir.
And I know in the entire team, they just sent out search warrants for those Gmails.
Yes, sir.
And as far as numbers of Gmails from John Mello's email address and Zach Hughes' email address, how many emails do you think you received between the two of those?
Hundreds. It fills up a large 3-ring binder.
All right, so did you cull it down to emails just between John Mello and Zach Hughes?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you what State's Exhibit 190 marks identification purposes only. Can you look at that?
And Gina,
Yes, sir. These are the.
I'm getting into this case because my blood pressure is going through the roof with all of this BS they are trying. This is the Karen Reed stuff all over again. We're just making up evidence now.
Emails between Zach Hughes and John Mello.
And did you have the occasion to review those?
Yes.
And do you know when those emails began?
Yes, sir. They began August 29th of 2020.
And when did they end?
They ended October 20th of 2021.
Okay. Is that when John Mello returned home?
Yes, sir.
Back to the United States?
Yes, sir.
Now, in reviewing all of these Gmails between Zach Hughes and John Mello, what was the basic theme involved in all these?
That Zachary Hughes was very involved, extremely involved with.
I object to this kind of summary of it. I mean, if they have specific emails that they would like to try to introduce, that's one thing, but just giving his interpretation of all of these emails.
Turn on the mic, God damn it, defense. You're making a good objection, so let us hear it. Yeah. 2 cases where police, again, all they have done until now is just have a chain of custody and all of that, which is okay. Nothing really nefarious, but today has really turned sour on me with the way this guy, well, it's clear that this is wink, wink, nuts, nuts. When you hear music, don't you think about 31 stabulations? That's clearly how it was. And the burner phone they talked about 5 months before is a secret code that he has to go through the front door. This turned really bad right now. This is BS. I'm sorry to say it. It's really BS. And then, I can tell from the emails that they are really involved in. Again, show us the emails and let the jury find the facts. That's the sister. Which one of them? The one in the white or the one? She's Asian. Probably not her. Puddletown, you have heart problems. You can't get excited.
Department, again, you reviewed.
Is this gonna be, you got a little bit longer?
Yeah, I got a little.
Okay, and that's fine. Hey, it sounds like our jury needs to take a quick restroom break. I don't normally like to do that mid-testimony, but I also want to take care of my jury. So we're gonna take a 5-10 minute break, okay?
I could use a bathroom break as well, but I can't leave when you're on break. The sister is on the prosecution side, close to the jury. Yeah, her sister, but the Mello's daughter, is she in there as well? But this case, it's been boring. They have wasted a ton of time today, and then they did this. And now I'm just... Whoa, Nelly. You did the thing where a white shirt was black and then it was white and then it was blue. Yeah, you're trying to make a round peg fit in a square hole. I get that. You do that sometimes. Try to spin it a little. But this, well, clearly talking about music is code for... can you just stabulate her, throw petals around? I hope in the Gmails there's all this, bring her flowers, walk through the front door that's open, bring a bag of Coke, and stabulate her. No. They claimed that talking about, did you study something music? I didn't get it because I was trying to make ChatGPT figure out what the other text was that he also never gave a crap about. We have time. I can go back and see what it was.
The basic.
Good. I'll tell you over the phone. This reads.
And what did he receive?
Did
October 13th.
that did research on music how go? How did the research on music go? Good. I'll tell you over the phone. This is clearly code for, did you stabulate her in the face? Written at 2:52 in the afternoon. And then he answers a minute later saying, yeah, it went fine. I'll tell you later. This is code for, did you stabulate her in the face? That's... At least have something in there or some lead up to... Where's all the planning? They were doing all of this after the 14th November lawyer oh, that means something. Didn't mean even ChatGPT couldn't unscramble it without adding stuff to it, and ChatGPT made it sound like Ada was a lawyer or something with the family. Nothing with rder. Nothing about, oh, my life would be so much easier if Christina wasn't here. And then, how did the music research go? You are asking a classically trained pianist that you believe gave piano lessons, and it was a guy who works in music production. Yeah, that clearly means rder.
Please continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Court. Investigator Sparkman, you had identified State's Exhibit 190 for identification purposes only. Again, tell us what that was.
These are email communications between Zach Hughes and John Mello.
And the dates of the first email to the last email.
First one is August 29th of 2020. The last one is October the 20th of 2021.
So the year that Mello was in Italy.
Those emails.
Yes,
And did you sort of analyze them the same way you did the WhatsApp in relation to your investigation?
I did.
All right. And in those emails, as between Zach Hughes and John Mello, is Zach Hughes either what I'll call CC'd or blind copied on emails from John Mello to various family court attorneys?
Yes, there are a lot of those emails that John Mello sends to attorneys or other people regarding the child custody dispute. Zach Hughes is either CC'd on them or blind copied on them.
All right. Are there emails where Zach Hughes assists John Mello in writing emails or maybe papers regarding the child custody dispute, or corrects or edits some of that information regarding the child custody?
What does this have to do with rder someone? I don't care that he sent people nudie pics of her. Fine. Give him a harassment, fine. It's a slap on the wrist, maybe a fine. All of this is BS. You're not allowed to have someone help you with your legal trouble now. You're not allowed to have someone do research for you. You're not allowed to have someone who live in the same town keep an eye on your daughter because you don't trust your ex-wife. Whenever I picked my kids up and I saw anything that I thought, oh, this could come back and be a problem for me later, I took pictures of everything if we ever went back to family court. If I had someone with me, I had them take pictures, and so I had them as witnesses. If there was anything where if we picked up the kid from kindergarten and they had gotten a bruise or something, I made sure to document everything. If my ex called me and blew a gasket, threatened with anything, I put it on speaker so someone else could listen in. Maybe it's quite reasonable a guy in Italy have someone local to keep an eye on his daughter, especially when the mom might be a cokehead.
For John Mello?
There are.
Are there emails where Zach Hughes is, are there emails where John Mello tells the family court attorney that Zach Hughes is allowed to communicate with the attorney?
Yes.
And that is regarding the child custody case over he and Christina Parcell's daughter?
Yes, sir.
And are there emails where Zach Hughes himself is communicating directly with John Mello's family court attorney?
Yes, sir.
As someone who lives on the same time schedule as Italy, it could also be that sometimes if family court goes late, it could be good to have someone in America who can contact them.
And are there instances where Zach Hughes is running
I'm going to
errands,
take
doing
a
things
bio
in
break.
furtherance of the
Keep me
child
updated.
custody?
Yes, sir.
And are there emails between Zach Hughes and John Mello discussing the child custody?
There are lots of them.
Okay. And what are those saying?
They're just talking about about the situation. Mr. Mello's getting frustrated. You can tell he's getting frustrated based on words that he uses. Going to different attorneys. John Mello's talking about how he's getting frustrated with Attorney A, and that we need to reach out to a different attorney.
And are a lot of these, I know they started in when they began in October,
August.
From around April to October 13th, that time frame. Would that be the time frame when Aida was given custody to Christina Parcell and Aida moved back to South Carolina?
Yes, sir.
In that time frame, were there a lot of those emails regarding the custody dispute?
Yes, sir.
Is it fair to say that Zach Hughes was well aware of the custody disputes between Christina Parcell and John Mello?
Yes, sir.
And finally, were the emails, communications between Zach Hughes and John Mello, were they caring for each other?
Yes.
In what way?
There's messages in there where one tells the other they love them. The other one will say, love you back.
All right. In addition to your duties as investigator, did you review Zach Hughes' photos on his phone?
Yes, sir.
And we've had prior testimony, but those are downloaded. The photos inside his phone are then downloaded as the images in which they're in there.
Yes, sir.
And you reviewed all of those?
I did.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 188. What is State's Exhibit 188?
This is an image that was recovered from Zach Hughes' phone. It appears to be a picture of some typing that states, to John Mello and his lawyer.
So do you recognize this?
I do.
And where was this, what date was this photo captured on his phone?
I believe it was August 13th of 2020.
2021?
Yes, sir.
State moves 188 into evidence.
Objection. Objection, 188.
All right, what does it say?
To John Mello and his lawyer, please find enclosed photos and advertisements of Christina Parcell, a.k.a. Caroline Warren.
Now, how is that related to your investigation?
Well, as we've touched on before, the name Caroline
Again,
Warren
they have them debts to write on harassment.
in these photos to various people.
And so what?
Next, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 187.
Lynn, it's a joke he's blocked it. Because he asks every day, or she asks every day if she's blocked. No, again, it's a really strong harassment case. But I don't give 2 cents about harassment. This is a stabulation case with 31 stabulations. I don't know why we... South Carolina... I can't spell. Harassment laws. How much is harassment? I think it's the first degree. What is the...
I'll show you State's Exhibit 187. Do you recognize that?
I do.
What is that?
This is an image that was recovered from Zachary Hughes' cell phone.
Was it recovered from what area of his cell phone?
His photos.
So would it be a snap or a screenshot, I guess is what they call it?
Yes, this appears to be a screenshot of an image that was recovered from Zach's photos.
State moves 187 into evidence.
Objection, 187, for the record.
All right. And so what is this image?
This is an image, the date on this image is June 23rd of 2021 that the reports showed for this image. But this is an image of a message conversation where someone sends the address of one.
Harassment is up to 5 years in prison. Yeah, then let's get out of here. Give him 5 years in prison for harassment, and bingo bango. But there's still no murder case here.
22 Canebrake Drive, Greer, South Carolina, 29650. To, if you pull it down just a little bit for the opposite way. So this is a conversation involving John Mello.
All right, and why is a snapshot of that address important?
Because now John Mello knows where Christina lives.
And if John Mello knows where Christina lives, who else knows?
Zach Hughes.
This was on Zach's phone.
Yes.
And what date was that?
One last one. States Exhibit 189.
No, it's a misdemeanor, not more than $1,000, and imprisonment not more than 3 years, or both. So can we get out of here? Give them the harassment. Give him 3 years. It was big harassment. Time served. Get out of here. Bingo bango. This is ridiculous that we have spent an hour and a half with this guy to get in that how did the music research go is synonymous with I stabulated her in the face. I agree. The harassment, fine. Maybe you can say it's a conspiracy to conduct harassment, but it's still a misdemeanor. But this is stupid. Stupid, 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 stupid. Again, I believe it's code. How did the music research go? Fine, I'll tell you later. Julie, you're a lawyer. Does this make sense to you? You understand law, people. Tastes like snozzberries. Yeah, he's paying for the lawyers. No, they didn't do it because they didn't know it at the time. They found out later. But, yeah. That asking someone about music research is code words. Well, then it's not just because I got a slight sneeze going that. No, I don't know what to say tomorrow when I do my recap. I really, today has been the worst. I have listened to Lally for 7 out of 8 weeks. Marissa, thank you for taking one of those weeks. And he made more sense than this questioning did.
Hey, please, Courtyard, I think we may have to have a conference out about the prices.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to see you back to your room.
So now we need a conversation before the last piece of evidence comes in. 75% isn't that great. By the way, Julio, did we message each other about the Coburger that I wanted to do a stream? I can't find it in my inbox. So I thought we did, but I might have been drunk when I did it. Yeah, and stuff that happened a year before means something. It's really weird, this case. Really, really, really weird. Oh, Tess, don't be like that. Well, someone started early today. We did email. I have to go and see if I can find it somewhere. I still want to do that stream about Coburger, but now I just want to punch myself in the face with music research to get out of this case. It's all the bakingness. Town, it's going down. It's going down. Yeah, these sidebars is probably because what they're going to do now is pure speculation wrapped in hearsay, embroidered with lies. Of course, I got you a big box of chocolate. It should be arriving any day now. If not, it's because I did send it. Well, Jamie shipped it out for me, so you have to complain to Jamie. She has opening hours from 4:01 till 4:01:01. You can contact her there and complain. Yeah, they should be coming back because he just asked for a sidebar. Has anything happened in this case? Yes, they proven they harassed them. I'll find them guilty in harassment. I'll even do conspiracy to harass. But the co-lead detective lying about the hoodie shows me they have nothing so far. I need the DNA evidence now to be 100% unequivocally he must have been at the scene. His fingerprints on the coke, something. Because this BS with the WhatsApp messages... No, it was the day before, I believe, the long one. The only two that was on, three that was on that day was, how did the music research go? It went okay. It went good. I'll tell you on the phone. Okay, because that's code words for I just tabulated a B. Yes, remember. Actually, everyone here, I've sent you a box of chocolate by way of Jamie. Maybe. Yeah. They must have someone to come in and tell us what the results were of all the... They did the DNA swabs, they did the DNA test at his bike. We need to know if her blood was on the bike, because there was DNA on the pedal, the handlebar, and the seat. Was it her DNA? Were there any fingerprints on the coke? We have to have someone to tell us how were the 31 stabulations? Were they deep ones? Were they fighting? Did she have defensive wounds? There's so much things. I don't know. Do you think if you were on the jury, and I know you're being instructed and you are the good people, but you are sent home after sitting a full day in a murder case, hearing about envelopes and nudie pics, would you go home and then first Google Carmen Electra, Baywatch, and then you would try and look up this case to figure out what the hell have I been wasting 3 days on? I don't know. No, they sent him to her fiance and other people but again, it's a custody battle. I bet you a lot of custody lawyers have worse histories than that. You don't really get anything good when you're Googling Carmen Electra Baywatch. So it's nothing that interesting. Are you going to be, if you're in Idaho, well, I'm probably not going to cover the case. I don't know. I don't know when it starts. I don't know. That's why I want to talk to Julio and have heard some. I don't know anything about it other than there's a lot of controversies going about it.
So going back to the emails real briefly, Jessica Sparkman, based on those emails, is it fair to say that John Miller was fighting hard for custody of his daughter?
Yes, sir.
And Zach was fully aware of what was going on?
Yes.
What is the one clear way that John Mello could be assured that he would get custody of his daughter?
By making sure that Christina Parcell was dead.
Come on now. He would be number one suspect if she turned up dead. Shut the hell up. Because if he conspired with this guy to have her unalived, he would go to prison and then lose custody over his daughter. That was the most late in French answer and question I have heard ever.
Now, briefly, did you establish a timeline of sort of events based on this entire investigation?
Yes, sir.
That were important events. And before you did that, did you also look at the phone and to Zach Hughes' phone regarding airplane mode?
I did.
And were you able to determine if it ever put it out of airplane mode on October 13th?
Yes, sir, I did.
And what were the two times in which it came out of airplane mode?
At 2:22 p.m. and at 2:32 p.m.
All right. And why am I saying out of airplane mode?
Because I don't believe the extractions show when the phone is put into airplane mode, only when it comes out of airplane mode.
All right, so I'm going to show you what's...
Oh, could we just establish his credentials as an expert in Cellbrite? Because that was a question you should have asked to the previous witness who was an expert in Cellbrite.
State's exhibit.
No, even his daughter had to wait for a year. She went into to child care, foster family. It's such a stupid
191.
argument. Yeah, because it doesn't use any power to connect to the internets.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 191. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
Do you assist in preparing this?
Yes.
And what is it?
This is a timeline of the locations of Zachary Hughes beginning on October 11th through October 13th.
And what information is this based on?
This is based on a combination of things: device location from his phone, witnesses, device location, a trail cam that was introduced, Ring doorbell cameras, flock cameras, just different.
What's a
events
flock
that were
camera?
Pulled from Mr. Hughes's phone that had a location with it.
All of those are in evidence.
Yes, sir.
I'm just going to get you to briefly go through this with the jury. I'm trying to avoid technology. Oh, sorry. State moves 191 into evidence.
No objection.
Not objection. 91.
Mr. Swarton, Investor, if you want to step down right here, if you want, you speak loud.
Oh, traffic cam. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. So the first day on here is October 11th, and this timeline shows that between 10:05 and 10:56 a.m., it shows where the trail cam captured Zachary Hughes at 799 Indian Flats Trail, the Mountain House. It shows on October the 12th at 1:07 p.m. his phone put him at 210. At 1:18 p.m. his phone puts him at John Mellow's house. From 6:56 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. his phone puts him back at the Mountain House. At 4:30 a.m. it shows that his phone was plugged in or unlocked. The same at 7:42 a.m. From 7:42 a.m. to 11:34 a.m. there's no activity on his phone.
It's in the charger.
At 8:15 a.m. this is when Donna Gorman identifies Zach Hughes. At 9:15.
3 years after the fact, after his name has been out there, and you ask if this is the guy you saw.
10 a.m. you see the ring camera from across the street of the incident location showing the suspect going into the front door. At 9:27 a.m., 133 Canebrake Drive captures the suspect leading on a bicycle. At 9:28 a.m., 207 Saratoga Drive captures the suspect leading on a bicycle. At 1:17 p.m., same day, still on the same day, Zach Hughes' phone connects to the Wi-Fi at the Mountain House. At 1:48 p.m. and 2:22 p.m., as I stated earlier, his phone comes out of airplane mode. At 2:32 p.m., that's when
There's no evidence it was in airplane mode. That's just you claiming it went into airplane mode. We know from the Cellbrite report it was charging in that time where it wasn't used. That's what the Cellbrite report said.
block camera shows the bicycle in the back of his truck at Rutherford and Bumpum. And that is in the direction that is coming from the Travelers Rest area back towards downtown. So that would be coming from the Mountain House back towards the city limits, back towards near where he or Mello live.
So you found this guy suspect because he had been at his home and then goes back downtown with his bike in the back of this car. You didn't see that till 5 hours after the alleged incident where he was biking around in the area. So he rode his bike down there and home No traffic camera picked him up anywhere other than the ring cams that didn't show it was him, just that it was someone clad in black with a mask on. But because he 5 hours later leaves his residence, where he according to his phone, has been the entire time with his bike in the back. Why is he bringing his bike when he then apparently washes it, hides it in the garage, as you also claim? I'm not buying this. I need something.
Puts in at 200 Tyndall, where he's residing, at 4:23 p.m. There's some location data from Schedule Fly on his phone. I believe Schedule Fly is how he signs up for work. At 6:16 p.m., his phone data puts him at 103 North Main Street. At 7:30 p.m., he's captured on flock camera. His vehicle is captured on flock camera, the Ford Ranger, at Lawrence in Washington. That's in Greenville city limits. And at 7:15 p.m., at an unknown location, he has a 120-minute phone call with John Miller.
No, he had an hour and 20 minutes. That's 80 minutes, which he also had the day before. It wasn't unusual for him to have a long conversation with John. But that conversation would have been at 2 a.m. at night in Italy. That is more suspicious. This is so stupid. This is a timeline they put together from whatever data they wanted.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to break for the evening. As I have told you before, you're prohibited from watching any TV coverage of this trial, and you should not do any type of research or investigate anything.
You should watch my recap tomorrow because I don't know what just
I've already
happened.
asked you to cut off any notifications that you might have on your phone. It really is important, as I told you, to the integrity of this trial, to justice and fairness to the defendant and the state.
No.
That you only consider the evidence that comes in through this.
No, they need the evidence that's not coming in, Your Honor-ness.
Whatsoever until the end of the trial, when I give you specific instructions to begin your deliberations. And again, you cannot discuss this case with your spouses, family members, friends, until after your jury service is completed. And if anyone comes and talks to you, you need to let me know immediately. I hope you'll have a wonderful evening, and I will see y'all back at 9:30 in the morning, okay?
Okay.
Again.
This is BS. Jeepers Cripers. This is some of the worst. This is the lead detective. I thought he was here to tie it all together. He made up what he believed. Everyone, we've been following this for 7 hours today. 7 hours. What, if any, have we learned today? Did Mello and Hughes harass them? Yes, they did. Did they use risque photos of her to try and influence a custody battle? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'll buy that one. That's the first 4 hours out of this 7-hour trial. What did they then prove? Other than the DNA that we don't know about so far, there's nothing linking this guy to the murder. Nothing linking this guy to the murder. I need the next witness to be a crime scene expert who comes in, tells me about all the DNA traces on his bike from her that clearly shows that right after he stabulated her, he was riding his bike. I need the DNA to be 100% foolproof. I need her to have a lot of defensive wounds, and when he's picked up, they find him with scratches all over the body and her DNA on him. According to Pretty Lies and Alibis, after the defense cross-examination examines the last witness from today, the state will call in the medical examiner and then the result of all the DNA swabs taken. I heard they could rest around lunchtime tomorrow. And you can get unbeatable prices on Temu, Hurry, limited stock, great deals. Brought to you by Jemima. You can get some shitty shoes for only $1.35. Don't buy crap on Temu. It's slave labor and it's poor products. Not endorsed by the baker. Jamie likes it. That medical examiner tomorrow better bring all the evidence. The police work in this case isn't subpar. It's sinking faster than the submarine that went down to Titanic. There's no evidence so far that points to him as the unaliver. There's no stabulator. She better come tomorrow and tell us all of the places they found her DNA on him. And all the places his DNA was in the house, on the coke bag, on her clothes. I don't know how she could have gotten it under one fingernail. But that better be 1 in 45 quadrillion. And could only come from a very special place. I don't know what the defense is going to do. They didn't give us any opening statements. So I don't know if they will put on a defense or just sit there like they have done all the time. But right now, would any of you vote guilty on unaliving based on what we have been presented so far? Take out what we know about the CP, which is hard to do, but could any of you find him guilty on some grainy photos and someone who enters a house? At this point, the judge should toss everything but the harassment. We all agree they harassed her, which is a misdemeanor, up to 3 years in prison. I don't give 2 cents about that. But they haven't proven murder. They haven't proven malice. They have opportunity. They haven't even proven opportunity. Because, yeah, he lives in the same city, but his phone was at his house in the charger. Who's to say he's not right next to it sleeping? This is the Zachary Anderson case all over again. If you leave your phone at home, you're out unaliving someone if you don't use it for 4 hours. This is a jury case. We haven't been presented with anyone. We haven't heard they found anything. He had a box with knives in it. I have a kitchen full of knives. I have a letter opener right here. That could be a stabulator. It actually has a small penknife as well. Did I do it? Oh, I couldn't acquit him on the harassment. I think they've proven the harassment. I don't know. If Zach was working on Mello's house, then why would it be odd for them to call each other? It's the same time each night, presumably, when he's finished work for the day. That's another thing. Oh, he talked to him for 120 minutes. No, he talked to him for 80 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes. But when the Cellbrite guy was there, he had done that for the last 2 days. They had multiple longer conversations. He was working at the house. The guy that worked with him said he was a good character. The only person who alleges he was anywhere near that crime scene was the old lady who wasn't interviewed till 3 years later, who was sitting having her morning coffee, looked outside, and a guy stood out there with a bike, and he looked around, and she was terrified. And then he put his hoodie up, put his mask on, and rode his bike away from there. And then she identifies him, and she identifies the guy on the bike, who clearly has a beanie on and not a hoodie. Then we see a white shirt on the guy entering the house, even though he was just wearing a black, what looked like a soft shell jacket. He could have taken that off, hidden the bike. Where did he hide the bike? How did he walk straight in through the front door that was open? Why did the fiancé say the back door was always open when the sister said, we never used the back door because we had no key for it, so it was always locked. We had locked ourselves out of the house multiple times. We had our routines. We always made sure the back door was closed. That's... When we finished watching the Karen Reed case, and I'm not, as I'm saying, you don't need a conspiracy to prove she didn't do it. You just need the ARCA guys who said, well, he wasn't hit by a car. But everyone was saying, Colin, I had a very different possible suspect after I watched those 8 weeks of trials, because someone showed to have way more of a potential to do it. Why? How could they exclude the fiancé? I want to know what his alibi was. He was at home washing his rock collection. How was he excluded instantly? Flowers at the house, 31 stabulations, a mercurial relationship. But some guy she didn't know who was working in concert with her ex-husband walked up straight through the front door, just went in, went cray-cray. Left her after dragging her into the living room. Oh, and he brought a bouquet of flowers as well, which they got in a fight in the front room, and trashed all the flowers all over that place, stabulated her, put her in the living room, and left through the back door that then was opened, which is never was, even though the fiancé said it always was open. Would it be more or less likely if you had a mercurial relationship with your boyfriend, who you constantly went in and out of a relationship with, who you did CP with your own daughter, because you are the humanest trash of human trash, that he arrived at the house with a bouquet of flowers because you had been in a fight, or he wanted to congratulate you with your new job that you might have gotten at that job interview that morning, and you knock on the front door she lets you in because you never use the back door because it doesn't have a lock or a key so you can get back in that way, so you never go through that door. And then you didn't get the job, or you didn't want to do what he wanted to do, or you wanted money, something, and you got into a fight. Is that more or less likely than some rando walks straight through the front door, starts stabulating you after you fight over a bouquet of flowers, leaves you in the living room, walks out and leave the door that's always locked open so your boyfriend can arrive 2 hours later, walk to the back door that's never open, claiming it's always that door we use, and find the body? I'm just speculating, man. I'm the what's his name? Jesse Ventura of this case. I don't claim the boyfriend did it, but I'm just saying if you're grasping at straws, that's a straw you could whole shit ton of reasonable doubt you can put in there. Well, then show us the money transfer. There's no evidence that he did it. There's no evidence that they talked about doing it. We have seen everything now, if it's true what Pretty Lies and Alibi says, that tomorrow will be the medical examiner. We have all the data presented now. Silch claiming, wire transfer me money. No bank statements showing that he came into money a week later or a week before. Nothing. So he just did it because he was a good friend. Could I convince one of my friends to send some nudes? Probably could. Could I convince him to kill someone? Well, I know some shady people. Valhalla. But one thing is sending nudes to people and saying, yeah, let's make sure that B word doesn't have your kid. And then go stabulate someone. What would be the easiest way to make sure he got sole custody? Well, unaliving his ex. No, because that makes him an instant suspect. Well, the recap is no evidence points to him being at the house that day, so far. All the physical evidence will be there tomorrow. No digital trace, no messages, anything. We haven't heard anyone other than the victim was the one who had to do the piss test as part of her custody battle. You don't just get on piss test if there wasn't a reason to do it. No evidence presented. Well, there's so much coming out. I can't do it. I can't sit down and read all of it now because it's been covered by so many. I was looking at trying to make a short recap video, but I have a lot of dreams and little time. Well, it wasn't you I talked about. It was another Valhalla guy I know. You want your Lego, don't you? Yeah, well, it went from having fever Monday till now I'm just sneezing and blowing my nose all the time. It's yeah, but have you seen how many pages there's a whole lot of pages, and I just can't, because I have the baptism Sunday. I really wanted to read the one where Lally writes, Proctor writes Lally while he's sequestered and suspended from the police. He still feels it's okay for him to call the ADA and say, that asshole Alan Jackson, because his big mouth got him in trouble before, now did it again. And Paul O'Keefe is a witness to the test of the vehicles. I know he was a witness in the first trial, that's why he was the first one there. There is the Marcy rule that the family can be in the courtroom, but the family is represented. So shouldn't Paul O'Keefe be barred from attending? It's not like the mom and dad can't be there without him. He's now a witness for the testing of the crash reenactment in the driveway. So I know there's the Marcy rule, but is he close enough family that he can invoke that? Isn't the mom and dad the ones who should be the only ones who can really invoke that one? I really don't want to watch his ball sack for another 8 weeks. Well, he got a new one who has the exact same degree as the ARCA guys, which he claimed wasn't something you could use. But I love that the Dr. Russell one where they use Bev's own word, which isn't in the transcript, but you can find it on video. Well, I don't know. Everything... there's so many pages, so I will have to... If I'm going to do... Maybe I won't do a Stabby Day Saturday, because I have to... Normally Sunday is my clean my house day, but I'll be away for the christening, so... I'll be doing all of that Saturday, and maybe if I get some time, I can do some of it. I'm not going to read all of it. Some of it is just the usual nonsense. But we are also going to cover next week, even if this trial is still going, Tuesday we'll have the motion hearing, so we'll switch to that and then catch up on this one. So, everything will work. Pay the baker. Thank you so much, MLS. You don't need to, but it's I can use it for tissue money. No, Zach. Not that kind of tissue money. Even though I did find the spot where we saw the nudie pics. And it's not that good. You already did 10 months. Thank you, Dave, for being a member for 10 months. Get you some much needed rest and feel better soon. Well, hopefully I'll feel better tomorrow because, again, I have a christening Sunday I have to be fresh for. And I need to get a haircut tomorrow as well. I'm looking like a hippie. But the rest of you don't look like hippies. You look like the beautiful young people that you are. And Dave. And you should all go get your supper, or like Rianne, get your butt to bed. It's almost midnight. And we'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 3 o'clock your time, Rihanna. And then we're going to have the physical evidence. I really hope that it's strong, because right now, this is some of the worst policing I've seen since Massachusetts. And Massachusetts isn't that great. I won't sneeze on the baby. No, but I went from fever till 3 days later. I'm just blowing my nose all the time. Give me 2 more days. I'll be back to my normally 75% I'm always at. Just get Jemima and Jamie to yell some more at me, and Marissa will beat me with a hammer. But but no, none of you will do that because you're nice people. And nice people should have a great night.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
correct.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, I'm in love.
Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't have cared?
No,
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
no.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
Probably did. Everybody has.
So there.
Everybody has.